Hello and welcome to the Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra T20 Finals Day live from North Dalton Park. In commentary this afternoon for the first grade final, Travis Winks from Wave FM, Sean Mullally from Helensburgh and Nathan Thompson from Corrimal. This is familiar territory for these two sides because they squared off yesterday in first grade cricket, and today they are playing in the 2020 final. Corrimal won the toss, elected to bowl. Sean, Helensburgh on strike first, and Josh Piper and Mitch McRae opening the batting.
Yeah, two blokes here who they like to have a go if they get a chance. Josh usually batting lower down the order, but you know what, in these sort of games we like to give him a bit of a chance to have a crack early on.
And Nathan, Xavier McDevitt is very handy with ball in hand, opening the bowling today.
Yeah, he sure is, Travis. He's been the go-to man for skipper Rob Fisher for probably 2 or 3 seasons now. Opens the bowling in all formats of the game, and he's a very hard bowler to get away. Very accurate, yeah, very dynamic as well.
We saw earlier in the second grade final, Kira, they went with all-out pace to start off with. Northern Districts, they went a little slower with their bowling attack, but Corrimal opening with the slow bowler. It's something that is pretty familiar territory with 2020 cricket now.
Yeah, it has been pretty familiar. We see obviously in the Big Bash in these games a lot of spin to start the innings off, really slow it down early on. But probably from Corrimal's point of view, Xavier's probably their number one bowler, so yeah, really good opportunity. Let him early and hopefully can strike and get a few quick wickets.
Now, both these clubs chasing their first T20 title. Helensburgh, of course, have had success in first grade premiership and the two-day competition. Sean, I mean, Helensburgh, they have been pretty much the standout organisation, Cricket Illawarra first grade this year. I mean, how desperate are they to add the T20 crown?
Yeah,
and
unfortunately there's Josh Piper run out there.
Wow, didn't that take us all a bit by surprise? Piper just a little slow out of the box, and all of a sudden he's heading back to the pavilion, and Corrimal, they have struck a very handy early wicket.
Yep, plenty of pressure on the Helensburgh batting order now. Travis, great work there in the field. I'm not sure who that was by. Looked like it could have been Brad Jardine there, who is one of the better Corrimal fielders going around. A great pickup, brilliant throw, and yeah, good start for the Cougars.
We'll check out the Johnson legal replay. That was just slick fielding. We saw in the second grade final earlier, which Kira got up by 4 wickets over Northern Districts, that there were a lot of runs scored in that fashion, but that fielding there from Corrimal was just bang on.
Yeah, early on, obviously, the field's going to be a little bit more condensed. The new ball, it's going to be a bit hard to get away, so it's a bit harder to probably drop the ball and run like we tried to see McRae and Piper do there. But we've got Nathan Marciani walking into the crease here. He's just come down from the Sydney grade comp this year to play with his big brother, and he's been the form batsman in the T20 comp this year for Helensburgh. He scored 140-odd runs, got a couple of big scores, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes here.
Well, Nathan will just have to steady the ship a little bit here because it certainly wasn't the start the Tigers were looking for, and this is where 2020 cricket is full of surprises.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of the lower grade games, teams struggling to really get going early on here, so a bit of a consolidation period you would imagine here for Helensburgh, but with two of the arguably the better Illawarra cricket batsmen going around at the crease now, Corrimal's bowlers will have their work cut out for them.
And the bowl from the northern end for the Cougars now. Pete Kilby. Now, did Pete play yesterday in the first grade match against Helensburgh?
He didn't have much to do yesterday, as he's a typical number 11 batsman, Pete. Fights it out with Xavier for that number 11 spot. He does get quite put out if he's put at number 10, but not a great day for poor Pete. But with the ball in hand, he's a very dangerous bowler, very fast, so hopefully he can cause a bit of havoc here.
And see again, the cheeky single, very gettable. They were just unlucky in that first over, Sean.
Yeah, two very quick blokes between the wickets here. Mitch McRae, a real whippet. When he's not bombing them over the top of covers or over mid-wicket for 6, he's able to get those quick runs. He's real fast between those wickets, him and his brother. They were known for their speed.
Now, of course, Helensburgh, they got the chocolates yesterday. I think they were defending 177, and Helensburgh took some late wickets to bowl the Cougars out for 162, so they got the points in first grade.
Yeah, it was an absolute great win. We were heading back from our second grade game, and we've heard that we needed 5 wickets and Corrimal only needed 50 runs. So when we've come back to Helensburgh Oval and found out that the boys took the last 4 wickets for about 20 runs, it was a pretty nice surprise, especially considering that's a top of the table clash there. So it was good to hear that they got the biscuits.
Now, it keeps the Tigers on top of the first grade table, but boys, there's still a few rounds to play out.
Yeah, there sure is, Travis. Probably arguably the 2 better teams in Illawarra cricket at the moment playing here. But yeah, Helensburgh yesterday with that win consolidated their lead at the top of the table. And for a number of years now, they have probably been the team to beat. So Corrimal have their work cut out. But yeah, looking forward to what should be another close game between these sides.
Well, T20 and totally different ball game. It is, of course, the Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra T20 Finals Day from North Dalton Park. Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh Cricket Club, Nathan Thompson from Corrimal, and Travis Winks from Wave FM in commentary with you this afternoon. Feel free to send us a tweet if you like. We're Twitterfied at Bar TV Sports. That's where you can find us. And we're happy to give you a shout out as you're enjoying this live and exclusive coverage powered by Johnson Legal and Cricket Illawarra. Great initiative to be able to showcase second and first grade on the internet for everyone to see, and enjoying it at local clubs as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely great. I mean, we've really tried to pump up our social media presence this year. We've tried to get out there as much as we can, and this being on the internet, obviously for everyone to stream, and into the Corrimal leagues, I know they're playing it live, so it's good to see that we've got a good competition down here, and it's good to see people being able to actually have a watch of us every now and then.
It's been a pretty solid start from Kilby.
Yeah, it has been. Really accurate bowler, Pete Kilby. Doesn't have a lot of variation in his attack, but he's pretty straight on those stumps. He's really accurate, hits that spot pretty much all day, and he has got a bit of pace about him, so he will probably look to shorten these batsmen up at some point.
Boys, as far as pace goes, I mean, how does Kilby rate amongst the first graders in the T20 comp?
Oh, in this T20 comp, it's pretty hard. Obviously, the bloke in the Illawarra comp that's been the bloke that's been the yardstick for years gone by is Dale Skyfleet from Dapto. He's obviously been pretty quick for years on, but now we've got Helensburgh. To be honest, we've got the Marciani brothers, Ben and Nathan, who both bowl pretty quick, but Kilby's right up there for sure, absolutely.
Well, at the end of the second over, Helensburgh, they've moved along to 1 for 5.
Yeah, the boys, they're not going too crazy at the moment. Obviously, losing that early wicket's a bit hard to deal with, but they're going to just ease their way into this, and Xavier's going to keep bowling tight. So I think if they get through Xavier and make their way through, they should be fine here.
McDevitt on for his second over. Was interesting in the second grade final that Kira bowled out their opening bowler straight up. Is that the potential here for Corrimal, Nathan?
I think with Xavier, it may very well...
Oh, there was a chance. He grasped it. It was going to have to take something special. Sharp reflexes required.
It was the skipper there, Rob Fisher, putting that one down. So I'm sure ex-McDevitt might have a few little... Well, he probably won't have too many words to the skipper, but...
Oh, geez, he gave it everything.
It was hit pretty well there. Good stop.
And that's the other really important thing with 2020 cricket is, yeah, okay, that was a missed opportunity to take a wicket, but he saved very valuable runs.
Yeah, in the end, I think T20 cricket, it comes down to the better fielding team. No matter how well you bowl or bat, the better fielding team usually is the one that's going to come out on top. If you can stop the batting team from getting an extra 10, 20 runs from good fielding, then that's obviously going to go a long way to winning in the match.
Earlier today, the Kira Lions, they took out the second grade T20 final over Northern Districts by 4 wickets. In third grade, it was University far too good for Wests. And we're now enjoying the Alberts Group T20 first grade final between Helensburgh and Corrimal. Corrimal won the toss. They elected to bowl. Sean, from the Helensburgh club, you surprised that you guys were sent in?
Yeah, North Dalton's normally known for being a pretty flat wicket out there and a good batsman's track. And let's face it, in finals cricket, getting the runs on the board's usually the idea that you try and get them out there. And you know what? We've seen a lot of teams in the past. I know from personal experience in a unfortunate under-16A's competition grand final, we were only chasing 100 and fell short. So runs on the board's a big thing here. You never know what's going to happen.
Another dot ball. So, Nathan, we saw earlier 102 was chased down in second grade. This is the third game on this wicket this afternoon. What do you think would be a good score to try and keep Helensburgh 2 here?
Well, as we were mentioning a bit before there, Sean was saying Helensburgh have quite the quick bowling attack, quite a good bowling attack. I think if we could limit them to around 120s, run every ball would be gettable for Corrimal. Anything above that on a bit of a wearing pitch could be tough to chase down. But yeah, in the Corrimal batting lineup, there is quite a few guys who can go hard and go pretty big. So anything over 120 would definitely back ourselves, but wouldn't want to be chasing too many more, Travis.
Now, Sean, the other thing that I'm a little bit surprised by with Corrimal winning the toss and electing to bowl is this is the third straight game on this wicket this afternoon. So to bat on later on, for mine, it's not going to be as in good a quality as what it is now.
Yeah, usually the decks down here, they struggle to last the 90 overs. There's a lot of games in two-day cricket, one-day cricket. You're very lucky for a batting team to bat a whole 90 overs in a two-day game down here. So whether it's saying something about the bowling teams down here or whether the pitchers can't wear as well, yeah, I think batting second here might stay a little bit low and a little bit slow. But you know what? It's only 20 overs with a good shot from McRae out to cover, but you can't... It's hard to tell, obviously, but you never know what's happening. Batting first, I think, really, it just sets the tone for the game. That's the main thing.
Well, they've hit double digits, Helensburgh, 1 for 10. Kilby. He's made a relatively good start here.
Yeah, he has, Travis. Been pretty tight early on. He really providing good support for Xavier McDevitt there. Not too many bad balls at this stage from Pete, and just saw there's some really good fielding off his own bowling there.
Yeah, good commitment.
Yeah, Pete Kilby is one of the hardest workers you'll see in a cricket club. Throws his body around, and in fact, if you're actually mid-off or the non-striker, his knees are that bad you can hear them click when he runs into bowl. It is quite off-putting the first time you hear him. But yeah, he's pretty much got the knees of a 90-year-old, and he still manages to run in as hard as he does.
Yeah, you can just see with the way he walks a bit like Ryan Harris, actually.
Very ginger, very struggling to get through that crease. But you know what? He gets the job done. He's done it for a lot of time for Corrimal. So, you know what? Age doesn't necessarily mean that talent's going down.
Nah, Pete's been one of the most consistent performers for Corrimal first grade for a number of years now. And yeah, really goes hard, and there's nothing... He doesn't leave anything in the change rooms. When he plays cricket, he plays hard, and you know you've had a good contest with him.
So the road to this final for the respective teams, Helensburgh beat Wests in the semi-finals and Mitch McRae scored 53 in that semi-final. You're going to need some pretty special efforts from the entire team today.
Yeah, we bat pretty low down, Helensburgh, to be totally honest. I mean, we've had Tom Sinclair, who's batted, and ball's just gone wide over point there, but Tom Sinclair, who bats 11 for our first grade side here. He was batting 3 and 4 for our second grade side for a number of years, so he's not exactly a bunny down there, so they bat pretty low, but obviously you want to try and get a nice strong platform early from Mitch McRae and Nath Marciani if they can get going here. Mitch in the semi-final managed to score 17 off one ball with a couple of free hits and no balls and stuff like that, so he made the most of it as he could, but yeah, we'll see how they go here, but there's definitely a lot of batting down the order, but Corrimal's bowling lineup's very strong here.
Does Mitch ease into his innings?
Depends how you get him, I guess. He's a little bit known for... He reckons that he plays all sports a little bit better if he's had a bit of a big night the night before, he reckons. So I think he's played it a little bit safe last night and maybe only had 1 or 2 beers. So we'll see what happens from now on. But no, he'll ease into it, and then when he sees something he likes, he'll go for it.
Well, at the completion of the 4th over, Helensburgh have moved along to 1 for 15. It is, of course, the Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra T20 Finals Day from North Dalton Park, powered by Johnson Legal and Cricket Illawarra. Corrimal's road to the final to get here today. They beat Balgownie by 7 wickets. They were only chasing, 99 on that day. So it was I won't say easy, but it was a comfortable way to progress.
Yeah, one thing I've learned, Travis, playing for Corrimal for a while is there is definitely no easy run chase. But yeah, that day they batted really well. Rob Fisher and Tom McDevitt started things off pretty good for the Cougs. But it was the bowling. We are probably a more bowling focused side, and to restrict a great batting lineup like Balgownie to under 100 was a very big effort for the guys.
Yeah, well, I did have Rob Fisher the captain coach of the Corrimal Cougars, on Wave FM's sideliners yesterday, and he did make the point that he'd be giving his young team a licence to thrill today.
Yeah,
do you think he'll stick true to his word there, Nathan?
I think he did, and this is another one of the young guys. The oldest McDevitt, Joseph, a fantastic cricketer there, one of the trio of the McDevitts playing today, and he's come on to bowl some of his off-spin, and his off-spin's been going very well in the 2020 comp so far.
Yeah, and Joe McDevitt was pretty darn handy with the bat too in that semi-final. I think he scored 35 not out. It was actually a McDevitt-McFamily affair on that day because I think Tom scored 48, Joe scored 35, Xavier took 2 for 20, Tom took 2 for 7. Do you guys over-rely on the McDevitts at Corrimal?
If there was one of them with those figures, perhaps, when you got 3 and they make up a core of your team almost, then, yeah, obviously they're 3 of our better cricketers, but we do like to use them pretty often.
Well, it's a slow outfield out there, so hopefully that might run all the way to the fence for Helensburgh.
Yep, that's a 4 to McRae down to fine leg. It's a bit of a family affair in this game, really. We've got the 2 Marcianis, Mitch McRae, the older brother of Hayden, who's also played a bit of first grade cricket, but it's not competing today. So obviously the young Illawarra families are producing the goods down here, and they're all turning up. So
now Ben Marciani, the Tigers skipper, he didn't play in the 2-day that just finished against Corrimal, did he? No, Ben missed the start of the season with a little bit of a foot problem, so he's been going all right. He came back after about 2 or 3 rounds. He's been going okay, and just a little bit too much cricket and a little bit of personal training. He's hurt that foot. Some people have called him a little bit soft, but to be honest, he wanted to turn up for obviously a final. I know the game yesterday was a very big one, top of the table clash, but he wanted to be here for the final today, so his doctor advised if he wanted to be able to bowl and bat today that he probably shouldn't play this 2-day game, and you know what, it worked out in the end. They got the biscuits without him. How hard is it to keep him out of the action?
Oh, he likes having a bit of everything. He wants the ball in his hand at the most important times, and he doesn't mind having a crack with the bat, so he'll probably be in, I'd expect, if a wicket falls, and next or the one after that, he likes having a go. So he loves 2020 cricket. He loves bowling fast, loves hitting a big ball, so it's really hard to keep him out here.
That was a good stop there because that was flying as well. And at the completion of the 5th over, Helensburgh, they've moved along to 1 for 25. So Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh club, how do you rate this start?
They're going all right. We saw in the last game, obviously, Kira in the 2nd grade final, they managed to chase down around 5 and over. So par here really is run a ball. It's pretty hard to go big in these sort of games, I guess. So if you go and run a ball, that we're just a little bit under it at the moment, and that's not bad. There's still wickets in hand, and there's plenty of overs to go. So 1 for 25 is not the worst. Obviously, losing Piper, who's known for his big hits and lusty blows, is
unlucky.
Yeah, very unlucky. Run out. You can't do much about that. But you know what? Nathan and Mitch are both very experienced cricketers out here, so they're 2 blokes you want in this situation.
Yeah, Piper run out in the 1st over, and Helensburgh, they were off to a nightmare start at 1 for 1, but they've settled down a little bit at 1 for 25, and another easy single there.
Yeah, new bowler on for Corrimal here, Aaron McElhinney, in his 1st year playing for the Corrimal Cougs. Really impressed so far this season, and got his best figures for the club actually against Helensburgh in the 2-day game, taking about 6 for 20 odd, I believe. So yeah, not really too much difference in terms of bowling. A little bit slower than Pete Kilby, but yeah, offers a little bit of variation too.
Well, that's a very powerfully hit for 4.
And that's where Nathan tends to go. He knows his game very well, obviously. As a young bloke, he loves to have a bit of a go growing up in this whole T20 generation, but he knows where he goes, and he goes strong when he gets it.
He went very, very strong there. That was comprehensively hammered into the boundary for 4, and we were starved of some boundaries. We only had a couple of 6s in the 2nd grade final and a handful of boundaries, so it's good to see the white ball flying into the fence here at North Dalton Park so early on in this Alberts Group T20 1st grade final between Corrimal and Helensburgh. If you're just joining us on Bar TV Sports, Corrimal won the toss. They sent the Tigers into bat, and Helensburgh 1 for 32.
Yeah, we're probably going to struggle to see a few 6s here today. Let's be honest, it's a good road, and obviously the bats these days are very strong, but Sydney Sixers played a Cricket Illawarra 11 in a trial match earlier this year, and even the Sydney Sixers, a big bash team, admitted that the boundaries are pretty long. So you're going to be hitting a good blow if you can send it over that picket fence for 6.
We did see a couple in the second grade final, and we had a great crowd in for that Sixers Big Bash trial match against the Illawarra Invitational 11, which the Illawarra boys won in a super over. But Nathan, there's a fairly good crowd in here this afternoon. The Corrimal faithful, I'm seeing plenty of green and red.
Yeah, plenty of green and red on show, Trav, which is good to see. And also plenty of green and red too back at the Corrimal Leagues Club watching live, which has been, great concept. But I'd say it's probably the biggest crowd I've seen down at North Dalton Park for quite a number of years watching grand final cricket. So, great to see everyone out and about.
And there's another boundary there to Helensburgh. And they're just keeping this scoreboard ticking over. Hey, we are taking your tweets at Bar TV Sports, and I've got one here from Lachlan Brady. He's a Helensburgh fan, Sean. Let's get him, Tigers. Enjoying here from Japan.
Yeah, Lachlan actually played our semi-final a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately he would have been in this side today if it wasn't for his girlfriend keeping a strong leash and, pulling him back over to Japan with her. But you know what? You got to keep the missus happy, I guess.
Mix up here.
It's close.
Little slow to react. I think he's home. So Lachlan's over in Japan.
Yeah, Lachlan's gone for a little romantic getaway over into Japan. I saw, according to his social media pages, he visited Harry Potter World at Universal Studios in Tokyo. So obviously he is having a good time without worrying about the boys having a very important game.
Well, he'll be hoping that the Tigers can pull the magic out here this afternoon. Albert's Group Cricket Illawarra T20 Finals Day, live and exclusive on Bar TV Sports from North Dalton Park. Travis Winks from Wave FM, Sean Mullally from Helensburgh Cricket Club, and Nathan Thompson from the Corrimal Cougars. In commentary with you this afternoon, feel free to send us a tweet. It's all powered by Johnson Legal and Cricket Illawarra. The Cougars won the toss, elected to bowl on what's a cloudy afternoon here in Wollongong. Direct hit could be in trouble, but he's safe.
Yeah, the two blokes out here, they're, as we said, young blokes who they love getting through quick. Mitch is known for his very good running. He's very decisive, no mucking around. If it's yes, it's yes, he's going to go. So if you're running with him, you better be very quick.
Nathan, Corrimal, they had a taste of grand final cricket last year in the T20.
Yeah, we did, Travis. We took on Kiri in the final there, and we in the end pretty comprehensively beaten there. But it's been quite a few good years for the Corrimal Cricket Club, based around on a lot of young guys through our under-21s team who have been very successful over the last 2, 3, 4 years, bringing quite a young squad together led by Rob Fisher, really starting to make semis quite consistently now. But it'd be really great to finally break the drought and win that final.
A few punters at the Corrimal Leagues Club this afternoon catching us on Bar TV Sports. Oh, there's a wicket. Well, he probably mistimed that, didn't he? He just danced down the wicket a little too far. He was well advanced.
Yeah, he's come down obviously trying to get to the chuck of the ball, but whether they've gone wide or whether he's just not going all the way there, probably a half shot from Mitch McRae there, which is a bit uncharacteristic. He likes having a full go at it, but that's the second wicket falling to Helensburgh, and Mitch is very hard on himself. I'm sure he'll go into the sheds and he'll have a long think about what's happened there. Well,
that is a big wicket for the Corrimal Cougars because Mitch McRae is one of the stars of the Helensburgh batting lineup. Their second wicket down, 2 for 38. Nathan, the Cougars would be pretty happy with that scalp.
Oh, they would be. And once again, the McDevitt strike for the Cougars, Travis. A great ball there by Joe. Bit of flight on that one. Looked like probably drifted a bit through the air there, which really caught Mitch just a bit slow getting to the pitch of the ball there. But great keeping by Tom and a big breakthrough for the Cougs. Mitch has been one of the most dangerous batsmen for quite a while now, so good to get him early.
Yep, well, the opener, he scored 21 there, 21 of Helensburgh's 38. Of course, Josh Piper run out in the first over, and that's why the Tigers find themselves 2 down, 2 for 38.
So we've got Ben Marciani coming in here. It's a pretty big deal for these brothers to be playing together. They've come down from the Sydney competition, as I've said, and Ben was playing for the Randwick Club, Nathan playing for Sutherland, so this year they're really happy to be able to play together. They've only batted once together this season, so hopefully their sibling squabbling won't get in the way of some good batting here.
Let's hope not.
No, they're pretty tough on each other. Ben on Thursday Arvos at training, he makes Nathan do a lot more than probably what most people will do, and I think that's just big brother picking on little brother and showing him who's boss, making him know he's the captain.
Well, they'll pick up some runs there. Wasn't very convincing. Now, there was no edge on that, was there?
Well,
I heard a little noise, but I'm just not convinced.
Well, Frank hasn't thrown his hand up in the air for a bye there, so I think we're going to give
The
runs to Marciani here. Yeah,
faintest
very
of
fair.
edges. Wasn't convincing, but, I mean, he's just got to try and just ease his way in here. That's much better.
But you know what? Batsmen will take him from anywhere we can. Doesn't matter if it comes off the edge. And you know what? If it hits you in the helmet and the umpire doesn't signal byes, you'll take those runs.
In T20 cricket, that is what it is all about. You get them when you can get them and you make them count.
Yeah, nice over there from Joe McDevitt. They're really tight lines early on, and it's been a pretty controlled start from the Corrimal bowling side here, Travis. They're really working hard. Tight lines, pretty economical at this point, but I think Helensburgh will be pretty pleased with where they're placed at the moment too.
Well, we expected an arm wrestle. These two, they lead the way in the first grade competition. Cricket Illawarra, they're meeting each other in the Alberts Group T20 final. Everyone expected this to be an arm wrestle. You boys are forecasting a runner ball, 120 sort of score, 2 for 40 after 7 odd overs.
Yeah, we're right on track there for a round runner ball, maybe a little behind, well, 2 runs behind there. But, yeah, I think as the field starts to go out in these T20 games, we saw it with the second grade final as well, the field sort of starts to go out, the fielding restrictions get lifted, and it tends to work more in the favour of the batting team, I think, because the batting team, they start working around a bit more, there's more gaps for them to work to, so I think it becomes a little bit easier in this time. The ball's a little bit older, easier to hit, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen enough of the McDevitts so far today, Xavier McDevitt's back into the attack here.
He opened the bowling this afternoon.
He did, so back on for his second spell. And just following on from what you said, Sean, we saw in the second grade game when the fielders are spread pretty deep, it was quite easy for the batsman.
Direct hit, I think he was safe.
It was
well safe there.
It was quite easy for the batsman to pick up 2 runs at a time, hitting deep down the ground. Guy's not used to throwing that far, so yeah, could see a lot of 2s picked up here.
Yeah, real big outfield. So I think if you get it even slightly out to the side of one of the fielders out on the boundary there, you're pretty safe running 2. So I think worked real hard here. Ben, let's admit, he's a bigger boy and he's probably not going to be too easy to run the quick runs, but I'm sure his younger brother Nathan will be pushing him and making sure he knows about it if he doesn't do something that Nathan thinks is quick enough.
Yeah, well, it's the Marcy Antis out padded up in the middle for Helensburgh right now. A great moment for the brothers in the Alberts Group T20 Cricket Illawarra final. First grade from North Dalton Park, playing a missed dot ball. Very, very valuable in 2020 cricket dot balls.
Yeah, they're little bits of gold dust, Travis. If you get a maiden over, it's pretty much as good as getting a wicket and going for a few runs. And one thing Xavier does do is bowl a lot of dot balls there. Rarely does he get hit for too many boundaries, but as I say that, I hope he doesn't get smacked for one. But yeah, dotting it up here, putting a bit of pressure right back on the batsman.
Is Xavier fairly zippy for a spinner?
He is. He does get the ball to go through the air quite quickly. They're more.
Here's a
As you see
chance
that one
here. There's a big chance, and it is. It's taken. Corrimal, Xavier McDevitt picks up a wicket, and Helensburgh with a little bit of the wobbles.
Yeah, just pressure from Xavier McDevitt. We saw it in the semi-final at T20 last year. Xavier just dotting it up, and at the end of the day, the batsmen are going to get frustrated. T20 cricket, you want to see quick runs and you want to see blokes scoring freely, so that's what dot balls do to you. Ben Marciani there, the captain, obviously trying to score a little bit more quickly and get things going, but top edge, going straight to mid-wicket, and that's a 3rd wicket falling for Helensburgh.
Yeah, it was a good catch there by Mitch Jones. It wasn't.
Let's check out the Johnson legal replay. Ben Marciani. He just didn't get onto it, did he?
And Mitch Jones there, safe as houses there. Great catch by the youngster. And you were saying before, Trav, that X does push the ball through the air pretty quickly there. Looked like one of his slower ones there. Really tempted the batsman into it. And always great to see a spinner pick up a wicket.
So we've got Ryan Morris coming in here for the Helensburgh side. Normally a wicket-keeper actually in our 2-day and 1-day format, but we've found out in this T20 series after him spruiking and boasting as much as he can in our training sessions that he can bowl. So we gave him a go in a little bit of in our first T20 game, and unfortunately he took 3 for 9 and turned out that he could actually do something with the ball. So he's found himself out in the field, and you know what, with the bat he's pretty handy as well. He's probably Helensburgh's most improved cricketer over the last 3 or 4 years. He's slimmed down and he can hit a ball very long if he wants to.
Jack of all trades, eh?
Yeah, and don't worry, he'll tell you about it. Unfortunately, being a spinner myself, Ryan managed to tell me that he took the same amount of wickets and more as me this year, and he's it's a bit of a pain, to be honest, a wicket-keeper taking more wickets than you.
Yeah, wicket-keepers think they can do everything, and when they do, it is quite the blow for everyone else.
Yeah, Sean Mullally from Helensburgh in commentary with us alongside Nathan Thompson from the Corrimal Cricket Club. Now, Sean, you play second grade for Helensburgh. How's Helensburgh's second grade team going this year?
So we're travelling all right. Yesterday we managed to get a good win, obviously, against Corrimal. Everyone plays against the same club in the one round. So we knocked off Corrimal yesterday, and that's moved us into the top 4, so finals contention. So it's real tight in second grade at the moment. Kira, the people who've just won the T20 final, then they're way out in front. They've got a very strong side, but between second and sixth place, there's about 3 points in the ladder. So sitting fourth, we're pretty happy with ourselves with about 4 games to go in the season. Yeah,
there's certainly a fair amount of depth within the Helensburgh Cricket Club because, of course, your boys in first grade in the Premiership on top of the table. They've made today's T20 final. Now, Nathan, you're with the Corrimal Club running around in third grade. What's the state of play there?
State of play yesterday wasn't too good of a day for the Cougars third grade side, Trav. We only managed to make 99 at Taraji Oval. Very thick outfield, so hard to score runs there, but came to a pretty close game in there. Dapto managed to pass the score with 2 wickets left. But yeah, for Corrimal third, sitting about 4th at the moment, and that win for Dapto did bridge the gap. They're only a few points behind us, but still, yeah, sitting pretty.
And your first grade team doing really well. They went down to Helensburgh in first grade yesterday, but they're well and truly in this battle. Their second straight appearance in the T20 competition here in the Illawarra for finals. And at the end of the ninth over, Helensburgh 3 for 43. So, boys, things have slowed down here a little bit. Nathan Marcianti and Ryan Morris at the crease at the moment. We still thinking that 120?
Yeah, obviously you're going to lose a couple of wickets and things are going to slow down. Wickets in this game are worth an over or 2 are worth of dot balls. Think a new batsman comes in, it's really hard for him to get going again, but they've got an established batsman here with Nathan. He's played in big game situations before. So we'll see what happens here. There's still 10 overs to go, obviously, and plenty of wickets in hand. We'll see how we go.
And Xavier McDevitt on for another over. Geez, the captain coach Rob Fisher's using him up.
Yeah, I think this must be his 4th and final over here, Xavier. He's the type of guy, when he gets on that bit of a run, he's very hard to take off, hard to get the ball out of his hand. And of course he gets through his overs so quickly, you know sooner or later he's blocked 1 or 2 dot balls and the whole over's whizzed by. So get him through nice and quickly, push through those overs, and hopefully keep the runs pretty tight at this stage.
Little breezy here at North Dalton Park. Hopefully we've seen the last of the little showers that we had earlier this afternoon during the second grade final, but things have certainly cooled down. Does that affect the way the ball flies through the air, boys?
Oh, you'll see from a spinner, they're going to work pretty hard to change their pace up a lot, especially Xavier. That's his one main strength. He's not a big turner of the ball, but the thing he does really well, he'll change his pace up a bit. He'll give you a little bit of extra flight. He'll zip one in pretty quick, but he'll like a little bit of a breeze floating across here. It might help him move one into the pads, and you never know what's going to happen.
Again, dot ball, bowled and fielded by McDevitt, Xavier McDevitt. You'll hear a lot of that last name featuring in this Corrimal unit this afternoon. That was a bit short of that ball. It was like he lost a little bit of control.
Yeah, X, funnily enough, every now and then he's really good for a hand grenade which goes horribly wrong and nearly hits square leg umpire in the head. Don't know really how it happens, but he does try to bowl a bit of a mystery ball which sometimes goes wrong. That one, not too bad of a ball there, but it can be known for the satellite.
Well, Sean, as a spin bowler, it must be very difficult. No matter what grade you play, at what level, to put 6 balls on the spot in an over perfectly is very, very tough.
Yeah, it's a tough game no matter what you're playing, whether it's 90 over cricket, 50 over, or 2020. In 2020 cricket, you tend to get a little bit sheepish and you start thinking to yourself, oh, can I bowl the same ball here again? Am I going to do this? Should I try something a little bit different? But no, I think Xavier's got the exact idea. He's been an absolute star for Corrimal over the last few years, and in T20 cricket, he knows his game perfectly. But if you can land 6 balls in the same spot, you know what? Let the batsman try and whack you. Let him try and go over the top and go bomb city to you, but you never know what's going to happen.
At the halfway mark of Helensburgh innings in this Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra T20 final, 3 for 46. So if you do the math on that, and I'm not a strong mathematician, but I'm thinking 92. 92 if they double their score. Now, they should go better than that with 7 wickets in hand. So the low 100s, I don't know if 120 is possible, but you guys know this batting lineup better than I do. Have they got the honky-tonk in the back end to make that a possibility?
Oh, there's hitting all the way down the order here for sure. And you know what? All it takes is if Nathan Marciani here, who is known for loving going big, is a young bloke who loves whacking it long. So there's plenty of batting all the way down to the bottom. If there's a little bit of a width or anything in their zone, the boys are definitely going to take it, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, Corrimal, they're just, I'd say, clinical at the moment.
Yeah, we are, Travis, as we see a new bowler into the tack, Brad Jardine, one of the best fielders going around Cricket Illawarra, and pretty handy with the ball, quite deceptive with his pace. He thinks he bowls a lot quicker than what he really does in reality. As the keeper up to the stumps, wouldn't be a great ego boost, but one of the most accurate bowlers going around, Brad Jardine, and really tough to get away.
Gets that front arm up in a good spot, very textbook-like bowler.
He sure is, and if the ball wobbles around on that seam a bit, and in two-day cricket he's just clinical, as you mentioned, in 2020, but in two-day cricket he just hits that spot consistently, finds the edge a lot, and yeah, really ties a batsman down and makes them work really hard to get him away.
Well, if he finds the edge this afternoon, he's going to want to hope it goes straight down the keeper's throat, who is standing up at the moment, because as we see with 2020, there's no slip in place now, which I suppose gives the batsman a little bit more freedom to have a lash.
Yeah, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable playing your shots here. If you don't see those blokes standing behind the wicket, you feel a lot more that you play that shot and you get the edge. You know what? There might be a few runs for you. You're not going to get out. But I think the boys are really settling in here. They're not going to push anything too hard at the moment. I think they're going to take their 1s and 2s here as much as they can. And when the ball gets in their zone, I know Ryan Morris, he likes to whack them big over long on and mid-wicket. So if there's one around that leg stump zone, he's going to take it.
Dot ball there for Jardine. They are like little bits of gold dust, as Nathan says. Hey, feel free to send us a tweet at Bar TV Sports. We hope you're enjoying our live and exclusive coverage at home, at local clubs and pubs right across the Illawarra, or anywhere in the world for that matter. We've got viewers in Somerset, UK this afternoon, also in Japan, and right here in our very own backyard. Both Helensburgh and Corrimal chasing their maiden T20 titles in this competition. Corrimal, they had a taste of finals cricket last year, but went down to Kira in the decider. Can they go one step further this year, or will Helensburgh continue their golden summer dominating in the premiership for 2014-15? That's a nice opening over there for Brad Jardine.
Yeah, it sure was, Travis. As we mentioned, they're very economical bowler. That's what the Corrimal bowling lineup's really based around. It's those tight lines being very consistent without being spectacular. But it's really doing a job here at the moment, keeping the score nice and tight. But I would imagine Helensburgh batsmen would be pretty keen to free their arms in an over or two here.
So, Sean, from the Helensburgh team, Nathan Marciani and Ryan Morris are in the middle right now. Who's the more likely to maybe open up the shoulders?
To be honest, they both find themselves, well, in their own minds, they're big hitters anyway. I'll admit that it's pretty painful. It's pretty painful having to bowl them on a Thursday afternoon at training, and you'll see your ball go down into the creek at Helensburgh Oval a few times when these two come in, then they've got their eye in. But Ryan Morris, fun fact, he actually held the record for the most chicken wings eaten in one sitting at a local diner.
There's a wicket. There's a wicket. Just hold on to that chicken wing fascinating fact, because I want to know more about that. I've had some crackers across the Illawarra, but again, Corrimal just tighten the screws. 4th wicket down for Helensburgh.
Yeah, and unfortunately Ryan Morris falls there, just trying to play back there, and he's going on the top edge. A real sharp catch there from the wicketkeeper. We all know it's pretty hard stuff keeping up to the stumps there, and it's a good grab from him. But yeah, unfortunately, all those chicken wings that Ryan ate in one sitting, he ate 26 in about half an hour's go, and that was the record for the local American diner in Engadine. So 50-cent wings on a Wednesday night. He's jumped in and decided that he'd try and go for as many as he could, and he knocked off 26, broke the record, and thought of himself as a pretty big dog, but unfortunately doesn't seem to have helped his batting here today.
No, well, he's heading back to the pavilion for just 6 runs. We'll check out the Johnson legal replay, and that was very sharp work behind the stumps.
It sure was, Travis. Thomas McDevitt there, one of the Illawarra's best up-and-coming keepers at the moment. And no surprise, the McDevitt combination strikes again. Beautiful ball by Joe. But yeah, Tommy McDevitt, who really only took up the gloves only a number of years ago, had a bit of a dabble with it in juniors, but thought, hey, I might have a bit more of a run in first grade. And he's been really good behind the stumps for the Corrimal Cougars.
So we've got Matt Ward coming in for Helensburgh here. He is, without a doubt, the fastest runner between wickets in all of Illawarra cricket. I've never seen someone go as quick between the wickets as he can. So if this bloke starts hitting him and gets him into the gaps, be ready for some lightning fast runs because he will make it look easy.
Well, let's keep an eye on the man in the yellow helmet. Now, on those chicken wings, I was at Amigos the other night and I ordered 10. And I got to say, if he has hammered 26, Ryan Morris, I think I got through about 7, and that was the legs and the wings. I think you got a bit more meat when you got to go the legs as well.
Yeah, the legs have got a lot more meat. Well,
I got respect for 26, but that's a big effort.
The wings are a little bit of fiddling. You've got to be honest. Like, you've got those 2 bones there. You've got to split them apart, get in the middle. It's a bit hard, but no, Ryan made it easy work.
Oh, great fielding. Great fielding. Saved certain runs there down the field, at least 1 or 2.
Yeah, he made easy work of those wings. It was a real sight to watch, to be honest with you. I took down about 10 and I was stuffed to the absolute hilt. But no, he made 26 look like easy. But unfortunately, his record's been broken about 3 times.
Chance for a run out here if he's sharp enough. No, he had to scramble. Little mini commando roll down on his knees.
No, as I said, Matt Ward's going to push these blokes. Nathan Marciani is going to push him around real hard. He loves getting these quick runs. He's not a big hitter of the ball, but you know what? He hits them clean, gets them in the gap, and he knows when he wants to run and he's going to go quick.
The big downfall with chicken wings, if you are going to try and set some kind of record, is if they're covered in too much sauce, the sweetness can kill you.
We've had buffalo and barbecue. Ryan went for a little bit of a half and half, and he realised about, 10, 12 wings in that the buffalo wings are a little bit too spicy. It's real hard to get through those wings when they've got that buffalo spice to them. So he's swapped around with a couple of blokes, offered up his buffalo wings for some barbecue ones, and lo and behold, he held the record for all of about 2 weeks.
Single there to Ward to complete the 12th over. Helensburgh, 4 for 53. And I was going to say, Nathan, when you look at the McDevitts, because it's the Mick family affair for the Cougars today, I mean, how often do you guys see on a Corrimal Cougars score sheet, caught McDevitt, bowled McDevitt?
Oh, there is a lot of McDevitt action happens. I think one of the first times actually all 3 brothers played in a first grade game, it was all McDevitts for the first 8 wickets. It was caught McDevitt, bowled McDevitt, stump McDevitt. It's just, imagine their backyard cricket games. It would
have been on
quality.
like Donkey Kong. Hey, and then you throw in, the rest of the McDevitt clan, uncles, aunties, parents.
There is some talent amongst that family. And new bowler on for Corrimal here is Mitch Jones. Not often used in first grade bowling, but I suppose no better time to have a crack at bowling than in a T20 final.
No.
And he'll be sending down some little darts.
Yeah, not much pressure on him here at all in the T20 final. I guess you don't bowl much, why not throw him on? But you know what, Helensburgh's going a little bit slow, and the spin seems to be working against the Tigers here. So if you've got someone that can throw their arm over, why not use them up?
Do you think that's something that Rob Fisher's really trying to impress amongst this young group? Because, I mean, the future is looking very, very bright for Corrimal. If it's not their year this year, you'd have to think in the coming summers it will be.
Yeah, he's definitely building quite a strong squad around him. Around himself and Brad Jardine and Pete Kilby, 3 of the more experienced players in this squad. Outside of those 3, every player is pretty much under 22, 23 years of age. And he really gives his young guys a go in the final. Like Mitch Jones hasn't probably bowled much this year.
Oh, that's an edge there. Misfield. Valuable runs. Back for the second. They'll go for 3. Let's watch the hair and Matt Ward scamper home. Easy does
He's almost lapped him there. And I've seen him in a couple of second grades with me in the past. And to be honest, I'll finish 1 run and he'll be coming back for the 3rd. He's a real sharp man. And unfortunately, the blokes who have got a little bit more, let's say, girth on them, they don't like batting with Matt, let's be honest.
So, yeah, Rob's got a really good group together here at Corrimal. Has there been much talk about goals for premierships in the future? I mean, obviously there's still a big chance of winning the Cricket Illawarra first grade comp this year and even this afternoon, but to really cement themselves as a force.
I think last year there wasn't too much talk about premierships in either whether it be two-day cricket, 2020 or one-day cricket. It was more we're still a building phase. But I think when the side did reach that 2020 grand final, Rob realised that hey, we do have a very competitive side here, and I think this year, without a doubt, premiership would definitely be one of the goals here for the side.
Wasn't going to carry, but much better fielding there because just moments ago runs were leaked through that region. So at the completion of the 13th over, Helensburgh have moved along to 4 for 58. They were sent in after Corrimal won the toss and elected to bowl. You're on Bar TV Sports, the Alberts Group. Cricket Illawarra T20 Finals Day live and exclusive from North Dalton Park. Travis Winks from Wave FM in commentary alongside Sean Mullally from Helensburgh and Nathan Thompson from Corrimal. Earlier this afternoon, Kira beat the Northern Districts Cricket Club by 4 wickets to take out the second grade title, and prior to that, University were far too good for West Illawarra in third grade. Nice crowd here this afternoon, plenty of support for both organisations. And it's just a magic venue, boys.
Yeah, it's real nice down here. It's one of the grounds in the Illawarra. We only have about, 3 or 4 that have the nice white picket fence around it, the traditional field that you see when you think of cricket. But it's good to see a grandstand here, obviously, and a nice green outfield, which is not only easy to field on, but also nice to look at. So it's good to see cricket coming back here in these big days like this.
Another single award there as Helensburgh moves along to 4 for 59. I've got to say the white picket fence, I love heading down to Port Kembla Beach and seeing Port Kembla's cricket ground there overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It's magnificent.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better ones. For us from Helensburgh, you're going a little bit further down to Port Kembla, let's be honest, the furthest away from us, but whenever you get down there, it's a stinking hot day when you're at Helensburgh. You get down to Port Kembla, you get that nice sea breeze coming across, and you know what? There's always a little bit something happening on the sidelines. You always see something a little bit interesting in that Port Kembla field. So we've seen a few things earlier this year, which probably we shouldn't talk about right now, but it's always interesting to play on. And you know what? The white picket fence, the real nice sea breeze, is an awesome place as Marciani goes out to deep mid-wicket.
Geez, Ward was coming back. He wanted a second there. He's going to have to be careful. Ward in the yellow helmet, he is, as Sean says, one of the fastest men in Illawarra cricket. How many times are there run-outs because he gets a little too excited?
Matt probably doesn't want to say this, but there's a few.
Yeah, because he's going
to be honest with you,
he's too quick.
He pushes the blokes around him. They really lift for him, to be honest. It's not so much that Matt runs blokes out or that he's going more quicker than him. It's that because of his real conviction, he's going really quick. The blokes around him realise, okay, come on, we've got to go. Let's get going. But no, it's good to see Matt out there. This is his game. This is where he's not a big hitter, but he loves the contest of being able to run and hit those gaps.
He'd be a nightmare to play with in third grade, I'd imagine.
I
don't think
that is a beautiful stroke. Straight down the ground. 4 runs. Thank you very much for Ben Marciani. He's just starting to hit his straps.
Yeah, Nathan's really going to start working hard here. I think he's starting to see the ball.
Sorry, Ben got out earlier.
No, that's all fine. I'm sure Nathan's probably lived in the shadow of his big brother for a while, and this is probably the chance for him to show up his big bro. So he's loving this chance to be in on a good wicket, and you know what? He's got some wickets at hand, a little bit of time, and he's going to start going big.
Jeez, there's words exchanged here too between Nathan Marciani.
Yeah, a little bit of a fiery match, to be honest, from Corrimal and Helensburgh yesterday. There were some feelings met, all within the spirit of the game, of course, but it's always a very strong and competitive game. The boys are very, very committed and very competitive whenever these two teams meet. I think just being on the top of the Cricket Illawarra ladder is obviously going to make it for a very big competition.
So Jardine just fired that ball back, keeping Marciani on his toes. We've seen during the Australian summer here in the Test series with India, the Indians didn't quite appreciate that type of behaviour. Is Jardine a fiery customer, or is that just the moment?
Brad Jardine's probably one of the more relaxed blokes actually in the Corrimal side. Good old Douglas, he's a pretty casual guy. There's a lot more players in the team who'd probably be a bit more fiery than him, but yeah, good to see him sparking up a little bit, responding back to that. 4 being hit off him, as we see Mechalini coming on to bowl.
Yep, Aaron in action from the southern end here at North Dalton Park.
look for Ward to go very straight here. He loves going very straight down the ground. If it's anywhere on those stumps and even within a stride's length, and he's a very tall, lanky customer, Matthew, so if it's anywhere within that front foot of him and on his stumps, he's going to go very straight down that ground and very fast.
Well, they're really getting into that time now, Helensburgh, where they're going to have to start thinking about the honky-tonk. They really need to accelerate this run rate to get it past triple figures. It's well within their reach.
Absolutely. These two blokes now, they're going to keep pushing it around, but Nathan Marciani is known, his big brother's called Boss, and he's been called Junior Boss because they love hitting those big balls and bossing it around a little bit, but these two blokes are going to have to go Bomb City sometime soon if Helensburgh wants some sort of total to defend.
Well, I think just watching Nathan Marciani, I think he's the one to get up and under and do the honky-tonk, and Ward just poke it around. He's very Bevan-esque.
Yeah, he's just that bloke he'll push and nudge, and you won't even really notice that he's got into 20, 30, and he's just done like that. He's done it very easy, but he'll just push it here, let Nathan do the big things. If anything gets in Nathan's way, he'll absolutely hammer it.
Now, that was a grassed opportunity. Did that carry?
I think it might have fallen short of the keeper, McDevitt, there. But a pretty good stop in there. If that gets past the keeper there, it's a lot of ground for third man to make up. So save two valuable runs there.
Yeah, we might see if we can get a Johnson legal replay on that half chance, if it was. Did it carry? Was it dropped? Was it a half volley? Hopefully the replay will give us some answers shortly. Opportunity. Oh, Ward, you're never going to run him out. Direct hit. He's too quick.
No, and there we see him being very strong down straight, as we said just before.
He's hurt himself.
He's hurt himself.
He landed awkwardly there. I think the bat kind of dug in on him as a bit of the bat clipped his arm, as he dug his knee into the ground.
I'm not sure. He's a very tough customer, Matt. He's one not to very often show that if anything goes wrong, if you whack a ball in his hands in training and he drops it and it looks like it's hurt him a little bit, he's not one to show it. So I'm sure and here we go, he's sending two of the blokes on the field back off. He doesn't want any help. So he's a tough customer, and of course he's got to keep up his good reputation.
Right leg, could be a calf, a hamstring, even a groin. But the whippet got grounded there. This is the half chance, but we can't quite make it out.
No, I think it's just bounced just a little bit short of McDevitt there.
Well, let's hope Matt Ward is okay after surviving that near run-out attempt.
He's hit that strong, Marciani.
Oh, he's turned. Look how quick Ward is. Like, he is just back. He's faster than his shadow.
Yeah, most likely. And it's a big shadow. He's a tall, lanky, sort of slinky sort of bloke, isn't he?
Geez, he'd be loving that description when he watches the replay back on Bar TV Sports. Linky, Slinky, Malinky. Sounds like he's come from Harry McClary and Donaldson's Dairy.
No, he does all right for himself, Matt Ward. He finds himself a bit of a ladies' man. He thinks himself pretty highly, so I'm sure he won't mind us talking a little bit about him and describing his physique.
Well, I tell you what, if there's any blokes out there looking for a lady, we've got a great promotion at Wave FM at the moment. We're having a singles party in less than 2 weeks, and we could hook you up. All the deets, wavefm.com.au, because we're in the business of playing matchmaker in the lead up to Valentine's Day. But let's focus back in on the Alberts group. T20 Cricket Illawarra grand final for first grade here. Helensburgh, after 15 overs, 4 for 73. 6 runs off the last over. A little bit of fire, a near injury for Matt Ward and Nathan Thompson from the Corrimal Cricket Club. This is Corrimal's time here now to keep control of this thing, because they've done a very good job up to this point.
Yeah, big final few overs here coming up, Trav, as we see Brad Jardine into the attack. Crucial here, if you can keep it even at this point. Under 8 and over would be a great result for Corrimal. And that 100 is, really the big focus at the moment here for the batsman, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it just becomes a bit of a mental game. That 3 digits versus 2 digits, seeing that on the scoreboard, it's a big thing.
Oh, direct hit, but Ward was safe.
As always, the bloke's going to get there. No matter what the injury is, he looks like he's still stretching that leg out, but he's too quick and he's not going to give up anytime soon.
That was a great throw.
Yeah, it's been some very good fielding from the Corrimal side today, but you wouldn't necessarily imagine so, because the twos are being run so easily by Ward at the moment. But yeah, Corrimal pretty tight in the field today. As we see that go up.
There's a chance here. There's a big chance, and it's taken. Corrimal, they make the most of their opportunities, and they have done just there, and Nathan Marciani, a fairly good knock comes to an end. He was trying to have a slash.
Yeah, obviously chasing these runs. He knows we've got wickets down the order, and as I've said earlier, we've got plenty of batting to come, but Nathan just trying to speed it up a little bit here and get over that 100, hopefully get to about 110 with 4 overs to go, but he's just going for it, and unfortunately gets it fat, goes to backward point, and a good solid catch there.
He scored 37 runs, which was a great effort.
We've got Christian Lewis coming in now to replace Marciani. So Christian, one of the only left-handers in the entire Helensburgh club. He's our 2-day opener. He's not necessarily known for his big hitting, but you know what? In that last semi-final, he showed a little bit of a ticker and got some runs for us here. And let's hope that at this point in time, he can just keep pushing around Matt Ward. And hopefully Matt doesn't run him ragged. And Christian, a little bit of a bigger boy, but I'm sure he'll do his job.
Yeah, important for Ward here, I suppose, to bat out the 20 if he can keep chipping him around, picking up the twos. It looks like he will play that anchor role pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Christian's known for... He's given himself the nickname The Wall. No one else has given it to him, but Christian's told himself he's called The Wall because he's known for hanging around. But I think today Matt Ward, as you said, is going to be pushing those runs. And Christian Lewis, he'll try and do as much as he can to go run a ball and just keep giving Matt that strike and run as hard as he can.
It's funny, wickets fall at the most inopportune times in 2020 cricket, because just at the time there where Helensburgh were looking like launching a quality attack. I mean, from my mathematics, Nathan Marciani and Matt Ward, they put on almost 40.
Yeah, and it's just, that's the thing with T20, especially when this field sort of starts to get pushed out. Those partnerships really sneak up on you. You think that you're right on top and you're bowling all right, but blokes are pushing 1s and 2s, and you think, oh, it's not that bad. They haven't hit a 4 or a 6 in a while, but that partnership of 20, 30, 40 gets up on you quickly, and before you know it, that score's sort of going away from you a little bit.
So who's going to be good at the death here, Nathan, for Corrimal?
Well, Xavier McDevitt's bowled himself out. I imagine Pete Kilby might come on for a little bit more of a spell, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rob Fisher does turn to the spinners once again here. They've been very good so far, and just taking that pace right off the ball, forcing the batsmen to really to generate their own pace is what 2020 has been built around lately. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit more spin into the attack.
Well, at the end of the 16th over, Helensburgh have moved along to 5 for 77, just 4 runs off that over, and of course the wicket, which I'm going to tip 105.
Yeah, that's pretty safe. What we've got 4 overs left here, 77, 105, so that leaves 27 off the last 4. Yeah, that's probably safe. I mean, we've got the wickets. Helensburgh's got the wickets in hand. It'd be silly for him not to have a dig here and try and go big if they can. Obviously,
well, it's all or nothing now.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no point. You want to get to 100. That's the magical number here. Obviously, 120, run a ball. That's what you're aiming for with every T20 innings. But if you can get to 100, as I said before, it's that mental game. There's 3 figures rather than 2 numbers on the board there that you're chasing. So Chris Lewis will give himself a couple of balls to sight here, and then you never know. Hopefully, he'll go big.
We gave Mother Nature a little rap before for behaving herself, but that little shower's just come back again. Hopefully it blows over.
Yeah, light shower just coming across Dalton Park at the moment, Trav. As we see Mitch Johnson back, not Mitch Johnson, Mitch Jones. He wishes he was Mitch Johnson, but Mitch Jones back into the attack. He only bowls about 110k slower, so here we go, the spinner. Oh, bit of a
runs
chance there.
Was there any bat or would it be bias?
I don't know if he turns it that much, so I'm going to say bat.
I'm going to go bias.
Oh, no, there we go. It was bias. Chris Lewis struggling to get the bat on ball here, but it'll only take him a couple and he'll get into his groove here.
Frank the umpire must be an offie in a past life, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. Frank, he was a batsman only a few years ago, but you know what? Frank loves the game and he's always up for a good game. He's very fair, and I'd say he
Ward
is...
advances. He could be out here. He's dropped on the boundary.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity gone missing there, unfortunately. Matt Ward, not normally one known for his rash shots, so he's given his chance here. He'll be filthy on himself that he's going drop, so he'll dig back in and really make this wicket worthwhile now.
Who grasped that catch?
Well, if you didn't have a live broadcast, Trav, you wouldn't tell, would you? But with the benefit of this great Bar TV sports coverage, it was Curtis Trindle. And I'm sure
Curtis
we can
will be
find a
kicking
replay of that
himself
for him years to come. That'll be on the presentation highlight reel.
Now, it goes without saying, obviously, no one wants to drop a catch every now and then, but in these sort of situations, whether there's a fine system or there's not a fine system, if you drop a catch, you're going to know for it for weeks to come. That's absolutely without saying.
That was solidly hit, but well fielded and unlucky to only get one for it, really.
Well, Sean, there was first grade do implement a fine system, and I know last night the kitty was helped quite a lot. A lot of blokes, especially the tailenders, having to contribute a lot of fines, I think, from some ducks down the bottom of the order. So the Corrimal first grade kitty looked pretty good.
So what kind of damage are they up for a duck or a grass catch?
I think it might be $5 a duck, could be $10 for a golden duck, which is a bit unfair on the tailenders.
Geez, I'd have to take a second mortgage on the house.
Yeah, I'm glad that second grade we don't put those sort of things in, or otherwise I think we'd be in some serious debt.
Yeah, tried implementing that in third grade, but there were too many blokes turning up with no gear because they couldn't afford it. So everyone just chips in a bit at the end of the year, I think.
3 overs to go in the Helensburgh innings. They're 5 for 83 after 17. And we're going to bring you the Johnson legal replay of this drop catch. I mean, he was in the right position.
Yeah, he's probably just... He hasn't gotten right behind it. That's his problem. He's taking the ball a little bit away from his body there. But you know what? It is always tough. A little bit of a flatter catch out there, and they're hitting him hard. So you can't really begrudge a bloke.
Oh, look, the other thing, it was Curtis, wasn't it? That grass sat.
It was Curtis Trindle, and he's one. His dad has been a very big part of Corrimal Cricket Club for the last 2-3 decades. And his dad, if he had $1 for every catch he's probably hit Curtis, he'd probably be a multi-millionaire. And I'm sure he wouldn't be too pleased seeing Curtis drop that.
Well, the thing that I will put in Curtis's defence, and you probably can't pick it up on our Bar TV Sports coverage, is that there is a bit of wind here this afternoon, and I reckon that might have had something to do with the way that ball flew through the air.
Yeah, anything going out into the boundary here is going to swirl around a little bit. We've got the ocean only 500 metres away from us here at the lovely North Dalton Park. But so you get that sea breeze coming across, and the ball's going to swirl around a little bit. So it always is tough. And you know what? There's a little bit of cloud around, and late in the day, so it's not as easy as people probably think it is.
As we see Brad Jardine back into the attack here, worked nicely away from Helensburgh there.
Yeah, back for second with Ward heading to the danger zone. Does it easy.
Yeah, poor old Chris Lewis here, the fridge as some people like to call him, or the Yeti. He's struggling a little bit, I'm sure, with Matt Ward's fast running, but you know what? Chris is the ultimate team player. He's been around for about 5-6 years now with Helensburgh Cricket Club's first grade, and he's going to do absolutely everything he can. He's one of the most competitive human beings I've ever met, so don't let his big size fool you. He will go for absolutely every run possible.
Well, geez, he just nudged that away, had all the time in the world, and did it so gracefully for a big unit.
Oh, he likes to think he's a bit of a ballerina between the wickets. He thinks he's all about the finesse and the look of how he bats. He's not too worried about the result, but if he looks good doing it, you know what? He's happy.
You got to look good when you're doing it.
There's no point batting, is there? If you don't look good, what's the point of playing?
Oh, he went to slash. His back foot was
They
well
call
and
that
truly
third or
down
fourth
then.
grade.
Nathan, just tell us a bit more about the Corrimal wicketkeeper, because he's been fairly impressive today.
Yeah, last season he was actually the joint winner of wicketkeeper of the year. And Tom, probably more known for his power hitting. One of the best young batsmen going around cricket Illawarra circles at the moment. But his glove work has really come on lately. Fantastic keeper, as we can see here, keeping up to some of the medium paces.
Without a helmet as well, which has got to take a little bit of Superman.
Yeah, I can't imagine his dad, who's a doctor, being too pleased about that. Maybe more stupidity than brains, but he's a pretty handy keeper, so I'm sure he backs himself to take it.
His foot's just on the line there, so he's just home there, but it's very sharp work from McDevitt.
Exceptional work from our Bar TV Sports camera crew here on the Johnson Legal Replay. We hope you're enjoying our live and exclusive coverage of the Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra T20 Finals Day from North Dalton Park and Helensburgh. See, now, I just don't know if that's required. That's Jardine again, yeah? He's fired it back. You said he was tame, Nathan, but it's the second time he's done that.
It is. Might be making a bit of a liar out of me at the moment, Trav. Not sure what was in the drink he had before the game. But yeah, firing up a bit there, Douglas.
Did Jardine... Well, you guys batted yesterday against Helensburgh. Did he cop any treatment when he was bowling in that two-day match?
I'm not too sure if you did Trav. He may have a bit of a point to prove. I don't think he got too many runs yesterday, so that might be still fresh in his memory.
Well, he's got a chance to redeem himself today. Corrimal, a chance to redeem themselves after failing to chase down the 178-run target in the premiership match yesterday. Cougars all out for 162 against their combatants today in the 2020 final. Helensburgh really need to try and just swing out here now because there's wickets in hand and not many balls left, Sean.
No, they've got to go run a ball here. There's 11 balls left. We've just scored a run and move to 88. So run a ball and a little bit more gets us to that magical 100 number, 3 digits. As I've said a couple of times before, it's just that mind game there. If you're chasing 100 runs, you need 101 to win. So run a ball here is absolute necessity. And you know what? If they can clear that fence a couple of times, it'd be even better.
Who can clear it out of Lewis and Ward? Lewis?
I
Is he
think
a man?
If anything goes towards that leg stump of Chris Lewis, I think be expecting one probably right here in this little tent we've got set up for Bar TV Sports. But Matt Ward, if he's probably not one to clear the boundary, but as I said before, if he gets anything relatively straight, he'll whack it as quick as he can straight as he comes down the deck. And
there's a wicket. It was short. I thought it was fruit. I thought for a moment the nectarines have been in season and been sweet as that was going to get punished, but straight down the throat, and Corrimal will pick up another valuable wicket.
Yeah, that was your classic lower grade wicket there, Trav. The old half tracker. Let the batsman think it's a rubbish ball, and straight to Xavier McDevitt there, takes a pretty sharp catch.
And Ward is on his way back to the pavilion.
Yeah, that's just a typical. What's the word to say here? It's just pressure. That's what it comes down to. Late innings pressure. He realises we've got to get these runs quickly. Matt, not normally, he uses his feet well to the spinners, but normally not one to come down and play that sort of rash shot to a pace bowler. So that's just pressure building, and that's good bowling from Corrimal. But we've got Shea Brady coming in for Helensburgh. A real handy young cricketer. He's very young here, only 17 years of age. But you know what? He loves these sort of contests, and he's going to step up here. Not a big hitter of the ball, but he'll push it around and he'll get his runner ball.
Hope you're enjoying our Johnson Legal replays. Just some very tidy work in the field there from the Corrimal Cougars as Helensburgh drop another wicket. So can Shea Brady give us a little bit of magic in the back end for the Tigers as they... Well, we could be... Yes, that is out. We've got a hat-trick situation here at North Dalton Park.
It's that man, Mitch Jones, hasn't been given a bowl 2 or 3 overs this season, comes into the grand final and finds himself on a hat-trick.
Golden duck there to Shea Brady. Mitch Jones, he's just pulled a little rabbit out of his hat in the back end of this innings. Boys, first things first, Johnson Legal replay. Great glove work yet again, and Mitch Jones picks up his second wicket in 2 balls. Firstly, Shea Brady, will he be fine for the Golden Duck?
No, unfortunately, Helensburgh, we talked about it earlier in the season about a fine system, but we found that it probably didn't work too well because I think guys are a little bit tight, to be totally honest with you. It's tough enough getting the Rego money out of these blokes, let alone if there's fines to be paid for.
Nathan Thompson, you're a fixture at the Corrimal Cricket Club. Mitch Jones, has he ever been on a hat-trick before?
He may have been in his junior days, Joe. I'm prepared to say he hasn't been. He bowled a bit in juniors.
Not at this level.
He's a great talent with the bat, but here we go, hat-trick ball.
Luke Faulkner to face.
Faulkner plays it away, goes for a crazy single, probably threw it at the wrong end, but he was down on the ground. It was desperation there from Corrimal in the field. Missed opportunity on the hat-trick from Mitch Jones, but take a bow. 2 wickets in 2 balls. Tremendous stuff.
That's exactly what you need this time of the day. Obviously, dot balls are gold dust, as we've said before, but you know what? Wickets, even better. So 2 and 2 balls. Bring yourselves a batsman who's only been in for a few balls and then another new batsman in. It's going to just make the job a lot easier for Corrimal here and a real tough climb for Helensburgh now. So the new batsman's Luke Faulkner. He's just scored that single down there. Real quick run. So Chris Lewis here, being the established batsman, he's been one of the better batsmen in the Illawarra competition in the 2-day game this year. So let's hope that he can bring it up and really bring it home for the Tigers. A nice shot down to mid-off.
Yep, and just pick up the single. Nothing silly here from Helensburgh and the running between wickets. I suppose that's the priority, but if you want to have a dash for cash, go as silly as you want now.
Yeah, we've got 1 over left, 3 wickets in hand. Obviously, you don't want to be losing 3 wickets for no runs here, but at the same time, we've got to think, there's runs on offer here. You've got to take them where you can.
Jeez, Mitch Jones, what an electric over.
For a number of seasons now, Mitch, when he came into the fold, he's really been asking any skipper he's played under for a bit of a bowl. They haven't been forthcoming. In the nets, not a bad talent. But today he stepped up. He could be a regular fixture with the ball here.
Look, 3 runs from that over, 2 wickets. Mitch Jones has certainly tightened up the screws on Helensburgh. And we've got 6 balls left.
Pete Kilby into the attack here to finish off at the death. Often Rob Fisher's go-to man at the depth here, PK. Although the batsman will know what's coming, it'll just be quick, straight, but yeah, good contest here. Last over, bit of momentum hopefully for either side to take into the next innings.
Well, my prediction of 105, which I made at about the 12 or 13 over mark, I think is a long shot now. I don't think Helensburgh can produce 15 runs of this over, but Sean, you know them back to front. Can they do it?
We'll never say never, obviously, but it's very tough at this stage. We've got, 4 or 5 fielders out on the boundary here for Corrimal, so Chris Lewis has just got to try and find the gaps. Obviously, there's plenty of room out here. You're not going to aim for that 15. You're going to go big if you can get it in your zone, obviously, but as we go strong down the ground
it'll just
here,
be a single. No, they're going to come
go
back
for
the
2.
second.
Luke Faulkner, very quick in and out there. That's great running for the 2.
It's a Ward lookalike. Imagine
the
those
yellow,
two batting
obviously
together.
it's a yellow helmet. That's what it comes down to. If you're wearing a yellow helmet, unless you're Chris Lewis, you're going to be in and out very quickly. But no, that's very good awareness from Luke Faulkner, backing up, making sure we get as many runs in as we can, because there's wickets in hands here. If you go for that first run, go back for the second, you're going to get one run even if you do get run out on that second. So it's good for him to get in and out, try and get those runs as big as we can.
Well, I think 100 would be a magnificent spot to get to for Helensburgh at this point. They didn't have the greatest of starts. Lost a wicket in the first over. Josh Piper run out. And there's a single there. Direct throws in trouble. He's got him. He has got him. That is some electric fielding from Corrimal.
That is absolutely brilliant there, Trav, from another McDevitt, this time Joseph. Fantastic pickup and the direct hit. That's what those hours are spent doing the triangle drills and all the fielding drills come down for there.
And that's Lewis run out?
Yeah, that's Lewis run out. Unfortunately, he seemed to be moving on a treadmill there, old Christian. But you know what? We've got Mark Hanna here, who, interesting fact, he's making his first grade debut today in the final of the match. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of blokes uneligible and away through injury, holidays, all this sort of thing. So Mark's come in today. He's a strong fielder, good late overs bowler. And you know what? In second grade, he hits them long. So if he gets a ball here, be expecting something a little bit extra.
Now, would it be fair to say then that the Corrimal team don't know too much about Mark Hanna?
We came across him in third grade actually at the start of the season. He was playing thirds there.
Well, what a rise.
And watching him bowl there, you knew he was going to rise through the ranks pretty quickly. Very, very economical bowl and gave us a bit of a headache. Batted particularly well, so not a bad bloke to have coming in at number 10 here.
That was a brilliant bit of fielding. It was Joe McDevitt, the direct hit, Christian Lewis gone, and again Corrimal. They've been relatively sharp in the field today. Little mishaps like that, but it's always going to be a single, which happened right there.
This stage of the over, you know what? Last over, you're going to take that single. You'd rather take one run at this stage rather than stand back and hopefully not let it through for 4. So one run, it's not the worst option here for Corrimal to take.
Well, Sean, one thing's for certain, the Helensburgh bowlers, they're going to have to come out and be bang on right from the start, because they're going to be defending 100 at best.
And they're going to be
fired
fired
handy
up.
too.
These blokes, I've never hung around with a more competitive bunch of blokes in my life. And you know what, these blokes, they're going to come out and they're going to absolutely try everything they can. We've got some real good fast bowlers, and we've got 2 spinners who have taken about 20 wickets in 3 games between them, who have been the backbone of this bowling attack in Sinclair and Morris. So look to see. I think it's going to be a good game, to be honest.
I think it'll be an absolutely awesome run chase from Corrimal later this afternoon. And during the innings break, feel free to send us your tweets at Bar TV Sports. We're happy to service your tweets at Bar TV Sports, because I think even though, we've all been off the money with our respective predictions as to what Helensburgh could score, I think this wicket is deteriorating faster than many think. It's the third 2020 final on here today, and I think 100 will be highly competitive. He got an edge on that one.
Yep, that's Faulkner caught behind there.
Well, he had to go for it.
Yeah, we see Pete Kilby there, strike there. Great ball there. And that's
So there you have it. Helensburgh finish at 9 for 96 at the completion of their 20 overs. And Pete Kilby, nice way to finish off.
Yeah, often used at the death for skipper Rob Fisher, and he bowled very well. They kept it very tight there as Helensburgh were chasing that 100 mark there. And a bit of probably mental edge heading into the chase, knowing you don't have to score more than 100. But in saying that, it is that difficult chase where if Helensburgh can take 1 or 2 poles early on, the Corrimal order might get bogged down and really find it tough going.
Let's check out the Johnson Legal replay of the run out from Joe McDevitt on Christian Lewis.
It's just real sharp work there. Lewis has probably thought, I've gone all right hitting it to the left side, obviously picking up in the wrong hand, but then he's gotten it real good there, McDevitt. Picked it up cleanly, got it in his right hand, thrown it down, and it's just very clean, good effort.
Exceptional stuff. Look, we hope you've enjoyed the first innings of this Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra T20 Grand Final between Corrimal and Helensburgh. The Cougars won the toss, elected to bowl. Helensburgh at the completion of their 20 overs, 9 for 96. Nathan Marchianti with 37, Ryan Morris 6, Mitch McRae 21, and a few other blokes chipped in along the way. 9 for 96. So the Corrimal Cougars chasing their maiden T20 crown. They lost the grand final last year. Can they chase down their target of 97 for victory? We will be back with more Bar TV Sports live and exclusive from North Dalton Park very, very shortly. Welcome back to North Dalton Park for our live and exclusive coverage on Bar TV Sports for the Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra T20 Finals Day. This, of course, is the first grade final between the Helensburgh Tigers and the Corrimal Cougars. Corrimal won the toss and elected to bowl. Helensburgh finished their 20 overs at 9 for 96. So the Cougars chasing 97 for victory. Tom McDevitt and Rob Fisher will open the batting. And joining us in the commentary box now is Mark Johnson, President of Cricket Illawarra. Mark, this has just been a remarkable afternoon of T20 finals.
Yeah, thanks, Travis. Thanks for having us. And no, it's been great. We've had the 4 finals, 6 clubs participating. Corrimal and Northern Districts had 2 teams through, and 4 of the other clubs got through. So we've had a good crowd here today for local cricket, and weather's held up nicely, and the ground's looking at $1 million as usual here.
And a great initiative from Cricket Illawarra to get involved with Bar TV Sports and stream the second grade and first grade finals right around the world.
Well, that's right, Travis. We're not sure how many billion this is going to yet, but we'll get the figures later and the ratings. But no, we're very happy with it. The feedback's been excellent. A couple of my cricket mates did tell me about how this was being covered in Newcastle, and only about 2 weeks ago I then got in touch with the Newcastle president to just ask how it worked. That led to me getting the Bar TV contact details, and in about 10 days we've managed to put this together, which is great.
It's been a remarkable effort, and look, if you are enjoying the coverage and you're on Twitter, send us a tweet at Bar TV Sports. Mark, Cricket Illawarra, I mean, it's been a fairly successful summer. Lots of juniors and the seniors putting on a good show as well in the first grade competition.
Yeah, it has. I mean, cricket competes with a lot of other sports down here, but as you say, we had the Sydney Sixers match before Christmas, which you're involved with through Wave, and that was great for the promotion of the sport. Our numbers are steady. We'd always like to build on them, but we're pretty happy with how the season's running, yes.
And in about an hour and 15, hour and a half's time, we're going to have a brand new first grade T20 champion. Corrimal, unlucky in last year's final. Helensburgh, they've been the benchmark in first grade cricket this year. Mate, I know you're the president and you don't want to get too political, but chasing 97 at 4.85 and over, do you think Corrimal can get the runs?
Oh, I think, yeah, as much as I wish both teams all the best for the chase, I think Corrimal are in the box seat. I would pull you up on what you said earlier. I played in the Kira team that beat Corrimal last year, and Kira was clearly the better side, putting my Kira hat on very briefly. But I think Corrimal, yeah, like you say, they should get the runs here. They've got a pretty good lineup with the McDevitt brothers and Captain Robbie Fisher to lead the way. It's their game to lose from here, unless the Burke can take some early wickets and make things difficult for them.
Well, we did see an interesting tussle in the second grade final, which was won by the Kira Cricket Club by 4 wickets. Mark Johnson and Johnson Legal, big supporters of today's finals. You've been featuring with our replays here on Bar TV Sports, mate. We appreciate your support, and you're doing a wonderful job as president of Cricket Illawarra.
Yeah, thanks, Travis. Appreciate that, and all the best to these commentators doing a great job for the rest of the coverage. Thanks, fellas.
Good on you, Mark. Yeah, joining me alongside in commentary this afternoon is Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh Cricket Club and Nathan Thompson from the Corrimal Cricket Club. So, boys, we are back for the run chase. 97 the target for Corrimal, and Helensburgh with the new ball. Sean, what can we expect?
Well, we're going to see Ben Marciani. He's a pretty experienced campaigner, the captain. He likes taking this new ball, and he bowls very sharp, that's to be totally honest. If we look at here, you're going to see Shea Brady standing a long way back there with the gloves. And Marciani's going to hit his lengths early, but you know what? He's got a very frightening Yorker as well that batsmen struggle to get away. So he's going to hit his spots. And you know what? We've started this over with a lot of dot balls, and that's what he's going to be aiming for.
Now, Nathan, I know that you went and had a close look at the scorer sheet. So for Helensburgh, when they were batting, it was Nathan Marciani who was the standout.
Yeah, he sure was, Travis. He made 37 then, really led the way for Helensburgh. Mitchell McRae made a very handy 21, and Matthew Ward there, the whippet between the wickets. He made 16, and he probably ran those 16 in probably under about a minute.
Yes. And what about the Corrimal bowling attack, mate? We saw plenty of fire. The slow bowlers had a bit of success, but Mitch Jones, he was on a hat-trick. He missed it. What did his figures end up?
Well, you're right there, Trav. The spinners were on fire for Corrimal. Mitch Jones finished with 2 for 13 off his 3 overs, so very impressive figures there, especially for a young man who has bowled 2 overs all season.
So we've got Tom Sinclair coming on here for the Helensburgh Club, their frontline spinner so far this season. He's been doing really well. He's a bit more of a flatter off-spin bowler here, but you know what? He's been doing the job, and he's been taking the wickets along with Ryan Morris. Our spinners have been the cornerstone of our bowling attack so far in the T20s, and Tom Sinclair's going to slide him in. He'll turn him just a little bit, not a big turner, but he's going to be really worrying that batsman, keeping him on that front foot, and they're going to not have many short balls or bad balls be put away.
What about the other bowlers for Corrimal, Nathan?
The other bowlers there, it was Joseph McDevitt, the off spinner, 2 for 18 off his 4 overs there, and Xavier McDevitt was the pick of the McDevitt brothers there in the bowling attack, 1 for 8 off 4 overs.
Jeez,
As we see there, the youngest brother Tom make a good start to the Corrimal innings there. Lovely shot through the covers for 2 runs.
Bit of lazy fielding there from Ryan Morris, but obviously, as we said before, more known for his gifts behind the wicket, but with his little tweak as he's come on, he thinks himself a bit of a fielder and a bowler, so let's see if he can make it up for that last little bit of a misfield and earn his place in this side as a fielder.
Well, we saw earlier in second grade, Kira chased down the 103-run target in the back end, so that triple figures has been a little tricky to get to this afternoon. Of course, Helensburgh finished at 9 for 96, so it's well within reach for Corrimal, but they're going to have to keep wickets intact early on so they don't get the speed wobbles up.
Yeah, big thing with one of these difficult chases, I think, Trav, is just trying to get off to a very good start. Although you can think, we got safe wickets in hand, we can have a dig later on. You really want to make a positive start, get on the front foot early, in case you do have a few quick wickets fall against you, and then at least you then got a few runs on the board to play with.
And thankfully the rain has vanished. We've had a couple of light showers here this afternoon. Nothing too much in it. No need for the covers to come out. But probably would have had a little bit of an impact on the deck, make it a little bit greasy there, but it should have dried up by now.
Yeah, hopefully the deck's dry up a little bit, but you know what? The Helensburgh bowler's probably a little bit happy for just be a little bit of wetness just on the top surface of it. If it skids through a little bit, maybe one stays low or goes through a little bit quicker, you might catch someone from that Corrimal side a little unaware. But here's the big wicket for Helensburgh. If they can get their captain, Rob Fisher, out here, it's game on for sure.
Goes for the quick single, put the pressure on. The fieldsman couldn't take it.
Yeah, Faulkner just trying to pick it up and have a ping there. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with being a little bit aggressive in the field and trying to throw those stumps down, especially at this early stage where you really want a nice early wicket.
That single there from Rob Fisher was almost a replica of the shot that Josh Piper hit in the very first over when Helensburgh were batting and he got run out. It's risky business early on to take those cheeky ones.
Absolutely. Obviously, you want to try and keep that scoreboard ticking over as we see Corrimal move to number 8 after 2. But you just want to keep those runs moving. And, yeah, you might be taking a risk every now and then, but there's just as much pressure put on the fielding team when you take those cheeky little runs like that.
Yeah, Rob Fisher, one of the best exponents of just knocking into mid-off, mid-on and putting a lot of pressure on the fielders there. They'll have to be right on their game if they're going to snatch that little sneaky run-out chance.
Well, Corrimal just ahead on all comparisons at the moment. After 2 overs, Helensburgh were 1 for 5. Corrimal none for 8. And that should go all the way to the fence for 4. Slowest part of the outfield out there. No, it's going to slow up. It's incredible.
It's a nice flick there from Morris back to Sinclair. So he's made up for that misfield early in that first over. He's made a good strong chase out to the boundary there, flicked it back for Sinclair, and you know what, they've stopped that 4 runs. Although Marciani, you bowl that short ball there, you're going to risk going for those big boundaries out there.
And you know the thing is, on this western side, that would have been 4 every day of the week. That other side, it is much, much slower.
Absolutely. We're playing probably from the middle pitch here, so the boundaries are about the same on each side, but that other side absolutely is playing a lot slower.
Real positive start here from the Corrimal Cougars. I mean, it's all out attack. That is something that Rob Fisher said during the week, that he was going to give his young men the licence to thrill, and the captain coach is certainly leading from the front as they try and chase down this 97-run target. Nathan, just how important is Rob Fisher to the Corrimal Cougars organisation?
He's been a big part over the last number of years to why Corrimal's now a very competitive first-grade side. He came back to the squad and picked him up when they were... was he nearly see a little run out there to Rob Fisher?
He's safe.
Just gets back. As I was saying, he came back into the squad where there's a lot of young guys and really nurtured their talent and has really brought them through to what we see now as their second grand final in a row, and hopefully could be a premiership winning side.
Chasing their first T20 title, both these teams actually. Helensburgh have won other premierships. Corrimal, it's been lean pickings of recent times, but 2 2020 finals back-to-back, hits the pads, nothing in it.
Yeah, across the club last year, I think all grades actually made semi-finals last year, and unfortunately all grades lost in the semi-finals, so that was a bit tough that night back at the Corrimal Leagues Club. But yeah, Rob Fisher's, he's that leader from the front. He's quite a confrontational guy. He really gets in, gets stuck into his cricket, and when he plays a good knock, all the young guys really respond and follow his lead.
Yeah, it's really good to see these two clubs on the top of the heap of Illawarra cricket at the moment, and they're both two really young sides. I mean, Rob Fisher's the oldest bloke for Corrimal. Tim Lloyd, who's been a little bit injured this season, but is the figurehead of this Helensburgh club as well. But two really young sides. So I think for years to come, the next 4 or 5 seasons, we'll continue to see Helensburgh and Corrimal being right up there and competing against each other. It's been a good rivalry over the last few years, and I'm sure it'll continue.
Sean Mullally there from the Helensburgh Cricket Club runs around in second grade. Nathan Thompson from the Corrimal Cricket Club. Third grade player Travis Winks from Wave FM with you for the Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra 2020 Grand Final. First grade Grand Final between Corrimal, who are attempting to chase down this 97-run target from North Dalton Park. It's all thanks to Johnson Legal and Cricket Illawarra. You're watching us through Bar TV Sports, and if you've got a tweet away at Bar TV Sports, because we'd love to hear from you. Hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you're watching it this afternoon. Those little showers have disappeared for the time being. We'll check out the weather zone radar, boys, and just make sure that thunderstorm that was predicted earlier today is nowhere near us. There is some cloud developing pretty much from the Moss Vale area right up to Windsor. And Wollongong's right smack bang in the money zone, but it doesn't look too heavy at this stage.
No, well, as long as Helensburgh gets their overs quickly here, with Josh Piper coming on to bowl, I think 17 overs to go. If we can get through those in the next hour, we should be pretty safe from that rain. So it'll be good to see the whole game played out. We don't want the rain coming in and affecting this anyway. We don't want the covers running out. We don't want to be sitting around here till 7, 8 o'clock at night hoping that we're going to get on and let the run rate, Duckworth Lewis, whatever they use down here is going to be. We don't want to see that come into play. We want to see a good match played out till its end.
Well, getting reports now that the storm is just moving through Barrel, and there's a little bit of heavy rain behind that. So it is en route towards Wollongong. And maybe that is why we've seen so much intent here from Corrimal early on, because they know that there is some weather on its way.
Yeah, lovely shot there from Rob Fisher. They're freeing the arms early on. They're right back over mid-on's head. They're pretty comfortable shot for Fisher there. Although it was in the end, not too much risk associated with that.
It'd be a real shame if the weather did play a role in this in the back end of the match.
Yeah, we've been really lucky this week. I mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
I don't think
Fisher
that'll
work
run
behind
for 4.
square here.
It'll stop up, well fielded, kept it inside the line.
That's great fielding there from Nathan Marciani.
It's good commitment from Marciani.
Yeah, he's worked real hard to run out to that boundary there and keep it in. I mean, that's what it comes down to here. As I said earlier, good fielding is going to win you games, and you can't give away any extra runs. So if you can save as many as you can, that's a bonus. But yeah, it's good to see sunshine on this Sunday, especially after Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh.
Real strong showers all the way from Sydney all the way down to here in Wollongong. So the fact that we've got it on today, not only is it a good weather and we're thankful for that, but obviously the groundsmen have done a good job to be able to prepare this deck and get us ready for this game today.
Yeah, it's quite a treat, isn't it, Sean, if you get to play a game on North Dalton Park, especially if you're lucky enough to be caught into a second grade side to have a run on it. It is one of the best regional grounds going around.
Absolutely. I mean, last year we were very unlucky. We got rained out here in my only game that we were supposed to play, and this year I don't get the chance to play here, unfortunately. So this will be the closest I'll get. So standing on the picket fence here and watching the boys run around, that's as good as I'll get. But no, it's a lovely ground, and it's wonderful to play on and watch from.
And sharing your thoughts on Bar TV Sports. Look, if you're just joining us on our live and exclusive coverage earlier today in the third grade final, University beat West Illawarra by 49 runs. Uni 4 for 154. Ryan Kittle 43. Peter Murphy took 3 for 25. West's all out for 105. Doig scored 49. Peter Somerville and Opie 3 wickets apiece. So University celebrating the third grade crown with a 49-run victory. In second grade, it was Kira going back-to-back. They knocked over Northern Districts by 4 wickets. They chased down the 103-run target. And now in the first grade decider, Corrimal and Helensburgh both chasing their maiden T20 crowns. Corrimal won the toss, elected to bowl. Helensburgh 9 for 96. Nathan Marchianti top scored with 37 for the Tigers. And at the moment, Corrimal, easy as she goes at none for 18 in the comparison. Helensburgh were 1 for 15 at this stage.
So they've got Luke Faulkner coming into bowl for the Tigers here. Really one of the big improvers over the last few years, moving his way up through the grades, and now he's probably become one of the premier bowlers in that first grade competition. Big in-swingers, so expect him to move a couple in here.
Fisher has a little fish outside off stump. No bat on ball. Pretty good crowd in this afternoon as well.
Yeah, it's good to see not only just the clubs that are being represented, but also obviously the Wollongong Club who have been looking after the canteen and the bar today. A few of the people have come out to watch, and friends, families, club supporters, everyone's come out today. So across all 4 grades, it's been a good day, and it's hard to knock coming and watching some lovely cricket on a day like this.
Fisher picks up another single there, another handy run for Corrimal as they attempt to chase down this 97-run target. Yeah, there's not many spare seats in the main grandstand here at North Dalton Park.
And it's been quite a while since you've probably been able to say that, Travis. Obviously, big crowds turned out for the Sixers games and when they come, but for purely the local competition, it's been a while since we've seen so many people here. And probably full credit to Cricket Illawarra for really promoting the game heavily this week. Very active on social media now, so there's not too many people around the district who wouldn't know the cricket's on today.
Yeah, it's been a real big push this year, not just from Cricket Illawarra, but from every club. I think everyone's really stepped up their social media game. Everyone's jumped on Facebook, Twitter, everything they can, the website for Cricket Illawarra. Everyone's really pushing for every sort of thing that we can. So it's good to see the local cricket down here, which is a very high standard. We've got the coloured clothing, we've got the white ball, we've got good cricket going on. So it's good to see that it's all being promoted and people are actually coming out and enjoying it.
Oh, lovely stroke. That'll go all the way to the fence for 4. Beautifully timed.
Thomas McDevitt there, beautiful shot there. Fantastic driver of the ball, Thomas McDevitt. If you ever see him down the Zeems nets with that bowling machine on, he is quite lethal there. He cracks them back at you. It's one of the least fun jobs going around, Travis, operating the bowling machine when he's in the nets.
I don't think Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh Cricket Club in commentary with us this afternoon on Bar TV Sports enjoyed that shot one little bit. The look on your face was just like, you're kidding me.
No, it's very hard to sit here and be impartial and enjoy the game and commentate as we can, but it's very painful watching the boys get hit around the ground, and it's just an absolute school.
That'll
from
be
Corrimal.
4 more.
That shot would have made it any better, Sean.
No, there's another 4 through backward point, another great shot from McDevitt. And
Tom McDevitt just absolutely enjoying his time out in the middle.
no, obviously he's making the most of these conditions. We said before, it's a very nice pitch out there, and this outfield's nice and fast. Good for fielding, but you know what? Once you get that past that infield, if you're good at get it good enough, it's going to go all the way, and it's just good batting from Corrimal. Faulkner really needs to get full here. He needs to go back to what he does well, get it nice and full, swing that ball into him, and worry that batsman on the front pad.
Again, McDevitt couldn't quite pierce the infield.
Yeah, better ball there from Faulkner to finish off that over there. Good, probably what he was hoping to start off with there. Nice and full there, really putting the pressure back on McDevitt.
9 runs from that over. And the Corrimal Cougars have skipped along to none for 27 after 5 overs, chasing 9 for 96, chasing 97 for victory.
I think we see a bowling change here.
Yeah, we've
The
got
spin back
Sinclair
in.
coming back in. Helensburgh obviously going back to what's worked for him so well so far in this T20 series, and what we've seen in the Big Bash Australian T20 games. Spin seems to be the way. Everyone thought that when T20 came out, spin bowlers were going to go out of the game and it was just going to be hell for him. But you know what? Spin bowlers have made the resurgence, and they're probably the most vital bowlers in your team. So Sinclair's going to come on here, hopefully tie up a couple, and you never know, he might get someone to run past one and get a stumping or a call behind.
So Corrimal will need another 70 runs to win at 4.66 and over. They've got the run rate in check at the moment. They began needing 4.85, so they're well and truly on target at the moment for the loss of no wickets. And just a reminder, when Helensburgh were batting at the same stage, they were 1 for 25 after losing that first wicket. Piper run out in the first over. So, I mean, it's fairly even at the moment, but there's been ebbs and flows. That'll be safe.
Rocket Army
Collected
from
on
Matt
the one
Ward.
bounce. And safely back. Fisher makes it home safely.
Not many blokes are going to run as fast as he runs. He throws just as fast, Matt Ward. So not many blokes are going to take two on his arm today.
He's an incredible athlete.
He's, for a bloke that he didn't play much junior sport when he was younger. Cricket's his only game. He played a little bit of soccer, but to be totally honest with you, a bloke who hasn't had much experience in other sports, he is an absolute athlete. He throws like no one I've ever seen, and he's absolute lightning between the wickets. So he's the perfect boundary rider out there for Helensburgh, and is the key fielder in this team.
Fisher.
Bit more flight there from Sinclair, which is good to see. You don't want to just keep darting in and at the pads there. You don't want to keep that same pace. Mix it up a little bit. Give him that thought, you know what, I might come down. Give him that bit of extra flight.
There was a lot of respect there with that shot. Just flicks the wrists on that one and picks up a single.
And there's Mark Hanna as well, down on that boundary down there. Known very well for his fielding, and probably what's got him his spot in this side today. Known very well for his fielding and big hitting. So despite coming in at the 11th hour, I'm sure Mark Hanna is going to play a big role out here for the Tigers.
See that one keeping very low there on the pitch there. A few gremlins starting to come into it now. And probably for the Corrimal batting lineup over the last few seasons, spin has probably been the real thorn in their side. They do struggle at times against the slow bowler, so a real challenge here.
Well, he just owned that, did Mick Devitt.
Just clear
another
that front
boundary.
leg. Whacking it over mid-off there, that's just real good batting. It's unfortunate for Sinclair. He's trying his heart out here and all the Helensburgh players. But it just goes to show with those early wickets that Corrimal managed to get against Helensburgh, what it does for the batting side and for the bowling side.
And a good platform being laid here from the Corrimal lineup. No wickets lost. The run rate right in check here.
9 more runs off that over. That's 2 overs in a row where they've scored 9 runs. So certainly Fisher and McDevitt have got things under control here. I just want to go back to something that you said a few moments ago, Nathan. I mean, you're a member of the Corrimal Club. You said that part of the Cougars' struggle has been the way that they play the slow bowlers. Yet you guys have got some gun slow bowlers in your team. So I'm just finding that difficult to comprehend.
Oh, you would think facing so many good spinners in the nets that it slowly, but I think it just largely comes down and probably become a bit more mature as cricketers. A lot of the young guys, like I'm sure that Sinclair gets a lot of his wickets by tying batsmen down. The frustration builds in. But what we've seen now, these two out in the middle now, Fisher and McDevitt, are rotating the strike very well, so one doesn't get bogged down, which is something Corrimal probably hasn't done too well of in seasons gone by. But yeah, all looking pretty good now though.
So we've got Ryan Morris, the wicketkeeper in the two-day game, but showing off a little bit of his off-tweak skills that he's been boasting about. And you know what? He's done pretty good. He took a 5-er in a T20 the other week, which is very rare to see. So he's taken 11 wickets in 3 games before the semi-final. So good on him for being able to back up what he talks with the ball in hand.
How much does he enjoy not keeping for a little bit? Because that's got to take a toll on your body.
No, I think Ryan actually likes standing behind the stumps. It means he's not running around as much, to be totally honest. So he likes, and also he bowled when he was younger, and he just loves being able to get it up over the people who say they're bowlers, and then he comes out from behind the stumps and thinks it's this easy, and he takes a couple of wickets. So, no, but he works pretty hard. I'll be totally honest. He just came back from a season over in England where he actually was the leading bowler and run scorer for the side that he played for over there. So he's worked very hard this season, and he's been given the chance, and he's gone with it. So he's become a genuine threat of this Helensburgh bowling side in the T20 format.
Fisher just chips it away for another single.
I think we just saw an attempt at a little bit of a scoop/lap shot.
Yeah, the
there,
ball
Trav.
before.
That was
The one before he tried something a little unorthodox.
bit of a smile on Fisher's face after that, but I'm sure there wouldn't have been much of a smile if he got out to that type of shot.
No, I think he would have been cursing. Tom McDevitt on strike now. Has a swing. Probably only pick up 1 for that. And, well, as far as the strokes that he's played already this afternoon, that's probably one of the riskiest.
Yeah, McDevitt, the leading run scorer for Corrimal in the T20 competition so far, and at the moment, the way he's batting, it should stay that way. He's had a very good T20 campaign there. Just a really destructive batsman. He doesn't look like he's hitting the ball too hard, but it rockets off the bat, and yeah, quite the young talent.
So Corrimal Cougars have moved along to none for 40 after 7 overs. They're chasing 97 for victory, which means they need another 57 runs to win. at about 4.38 and over. So gradually they're moving this run rate required down. And McDevitt again. A little bit of risk, but picks up the reward of 1 run.
Yeah, this is where Helensburgh really needs to take wickets. This is where T20 cricket we see wickets are the most important currency you have as a bowling team here. Nothing slows the team down more than a new batsman coming in, having to start their innings over. So if Helensburgh wants to get back into this fight here, Sinclair, Morris, any of the bowlers out here, even the fielders, are going to have to be really sharp, try and take this wicket, break that partnership, and you never know what's going to happen.
Well, it was at this point in Helensburgh's innings. Big appeal for LB, not out. Fisher survives. It was at this point in Helensburgh's innings, after 7, they were 2 for 40 odd, and then they did lose a 3rd wicket in the 8th over. And this is where Corrimal put the screws on them with the ball. They had a little period there where they did not score many runs at all, and they lost a couple of wickets.
It's gone straight up. Let's see if Brady takes it, and he does. Safe with those gloves there.
So Fisher's heading back to the pavilion. A good innings from the captain. He certainly laid the foundation, Nathan, for Corrimal to attack this.
Yeah, he sure has, Travis, there. 1 for 41 at the moment then. Rob Fisher, although he'd be disappointed in that shot, has really laid a great platform here.
Yep, the captain heading back to the pavilion for 18, and Corrimal 1 for 41 in pursuit of 97 for victory.
And we see now the new batsman walking out to the middle is the oldest of the McDevitt brothers. Yes, it is another McDevitt. This time it's Joseph coming out. So look for these two young brothers really to push themselves hard between the wickets here, and maybe they probably even look to pick up the scoring here.
And Joe McDevitt had a brilliant performance with the ball earlier this afternoon. Picked up 2 for 18. He was one of the integral reasons why Helensburgh was restricted to 9 for 96. So if he can deliver with the bat here as well, we might have a contender for man of the match honours.
Yeah, we sure may have, Trav. Very talented cricketer, Joseph McDevitt. As we see Sinclair here bowling to the younger McDevitt, Thomas. Nice shot there, works that down the ground. They might push for 2 here.
Joe wants the second, but his brother says no.
Good strong throw there from Faulkner. A big plus of Helensburgh, and I know being at training, they work very hard, the first grade side, on their fielding, especially during this period of the year where T20 cricket comes around. The blokes work really hard on running around that boundary and getting those throws as fast and as flat as we can. So you might be out on the boundary, but we've got to stop those 2 runs. So it's good to see the fielders backing up the bowlers here.
Hope you're enjoying our live and exclusive coverage on Bar TV Sports of the Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra 2020 Finals Day from North Dalton Park. Travis Winks from Wave FM, Sean Mullally from Helensburgh, and Nathan Thompson from Corrimal in commentary with you this afternoon. Feel free to send us a tweet at Bar TV Sports. Happy to hear your thoughts on this first grade final between Corrimal and Helensburgh.
So I've just gotten a tweet through here from Lachlan Brady, one of the Helensburgh players out
The Japanese samurai.
Yeah, the Japanese samurai, enjoying his time hanging out at Harry Potter World, obviously, but he's found some time to come and watch the Tigers on this broadcast, and he said, tighten these screws, Tigers, dot balls, let them try hit big if they can. So obviously just trying to stress the same message that I'm sure Captain Marciani is, that if we build those dot balls, build that pressure, eventually the big shot's going to come from Corrimal and hopefully a wicket will fall.
It's gotten a little dark here all of a sudden. Of course, we're keeping an eye on a storm that's coming, and that is beaten the fieldsman and will slam into the white picket fence for 4. A very handy 4 runs when you're chasing a modest target of 97.
Yeah, boundary to start the over is a massive thing in T20 cricket. You get that early boundary and can noodle around a few singles here and there, and it's quite the productive over. As we see McDevitt, his second ball, wonder what he can do on this one. Yeah, looks for the quick single there. Run out could be on here.
Think they've got him. Yep, the
just
umpire
run his
puts
brother
the
out.
finger up.
And there we go. That's smart work there from Ben Marciani. Another rocket arm in this Helensburgh side. He's just managed to get it over those bails. And Ryan Morris with those wicketkeeper hands take the bails off, and that's the second wicket to fall.
Wow, 5 minutes ago you would have said Corrimal were all over this. It was just a matter of time before they chased down the target. And in the blink of an eye, the skipper Rob Fisher gone for 18. And one of the McDevitts also heading back to the pavilion, and Corrimal lose their second wicket. 2 for 46. Let's check out the Johnson legal replay. He was a long way down.
So we've still got one established batsman in here, so he's really going to have to play the anchor, the younger McDevitt. But we're going to have to see if Helensburgh can tie it back.
It's going to be tense times at the McDevitt family table, I think, tonight or tomorrow night, barring on when players get home from their celebrations. As we see the new batsman in the crease there, Jamie Dillon pushes hard for that second run.
Yeah, boys, it has got very cool here all of a sudden. It's gotten a little dark as well, and if I check out the weather zone radar, we have got some lighty showers heading our way at the moment, just hitting Dapto. And there's a storm that is moving through the north of Barrel at the moment with some reasonably heavy rain. So hopefully we can dodge that bullet. But I'd have to think in the next 15 or 20 minutes, and that's a very, very good boundary straight down the ground. I'd have to think in the next 15 or 20 minutes we might get a little bit wet here.
Yeah, the great... If that does eventuate, Trav, light is becoming a bit of an issue. The great thing about playing this fantastic stadium is the use of the lights, which I believe umpires did say they will make available, which is a great initiative. Nothing worse than a game being decided or even called off by light.
Well, I reckon they should flick the switch on right now because I think it's
pretty
got dark enough.
Yeah, umpire Neil Finlay came and spoke to Ben Marciani earlier as the ball's going out in the deep.
On the half
it's just
volley.
fallen short. But yeah, umpire Neil Finlay came and spoke to Captain Ben Marciani earlier, and when asked the question, are these lights available to be turned on, they said whenever it seems like it's appropriate, they will be turned on. So it's good to see that they are thinking of all situations here and that we're taking this very seriously because, let's face it, the blokes out in the middle are going to be taking this as seriously as anyone else on earth.
Does it look like they might have just turned the switch on those floodlights? Or is that the glare? They could do with them.
Got Sinclair continuing here.
Oh, now that could have been a potential run out if the bat was in the air because they did come off the bowler. Sinclair got a little bit of skin on that and it's rocketed into the stumps, but Corrimal safe, 2 for 53.
Couple of tight overs here from the Tigers, and you never know what's going to happen. If they can keep it to maybe 2 or 3 and over, really puts the pressure back on Corrimal here, and that's real good fielding from Matt Ward, keeping it to 1 out there.
And we see Jamie Dillon here, the new batsman to the crease, about to face his first ball of the afternoon. He's had a very strong season so far, Jamie Dillon. He's really come along in leaps and bounds. He's been an exceptional talent for a few years, but yeah, this year really matured and has played a number of crucial knocks for the Cougs so far.
Well, they're going to have to keep their heads here because they don't want to lose any more wickets in quick succession. They've lost a couple quickly, so time to consolidate for Corrimal. He just lets that one go through to the keeper. But they will have to keep an eye on this weather. I'm not sure if the boys in the pavilion know that this weather is coming, but the radar doesn't lie.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. There's a fair bit of cloud rolling through, but you never know. There's only 10 overs to go here. Where do we say it's coming from around Dapto way?
Yep.
Yeah, so good 15 minutes drive down the road. You'd hope that it takes a little while to get here, but yeah, the blokes do have to be aware of the weather that's coming and really start to think, okay, let's start tightening the screws here and make sure that the run rate is in our favour either for the batting or bowling side.
Advances down the wicket.
It's very straight.
And that is 4 runs. Geez, we've had some boundaries from the Corrimal Cougars. Helensburgh didn't quite find the fence as much. They worked the ball around a lot, but Corrimal certainly signalling their intentions.
Yeah, and it's definitely, obviously, a big bonus. If you can find that boundary a lot more, it makes things a lot easier. Relieve that pressure. The aim of T20 cricket, aim at run a ball. If you can get that 4, it makes things a lot easier. So, good to see Corrimal going big, and that's probably going all the way.
That is a 6 onto the grass hill here at North Dalton Park.
Great shot there from Tom McDevitt. Got a hold of that one. Can't bowl him a full toss. He can hit them very far there. And that really helps the run rate there for the Cougs, as we're just talking about some weather coming across there.
It's a long boundary.
That is a big
down
hit.
To that neck of the woods as well. That's an expensive over there. Some 13 odd runs from it. And at the halfway mark in pursuit of 97 for victory. The Corrimal Cougars, 2 for 65. Hope you're enjoying our coverage on Bar TV Sports. Send us a tweet at Bar TV Sports.
So Helensburgh obviously going for the throat here, realising they're behind the 8 ball here with the run rate, looking to captain Ben Marciani and probably their best bowler to try and get the breakthrough here. We've said a couple of times that wickets are just as good as dot balls or a couple of maidens here, so if Marciani can break through here, which is obviously what he's aiming for, might turn the tides in Helensburgh favour, but you'd think Corrimal right on top here.
Corrimal need just 32 runs for victory at 3.2 and over. You'd have to think, barring some kind of miracle from Helensburgh, or an absolute downpour that takes any opportunity of finishing the game away, that Corrimal could have their first 2020 title stitched up.
There would be quite a few nervous people over in the wearing the red and green at the moment, Trav, as Jamie Dillon lets that one go there. That's what a great over from Tom McDevitt. Just allows the new batsman, Jamie, to come in, settle himself a little bit there without that scoreboard pressure as he tries to work his way in. Great shot maker, Jamie Dillon. Really looks to play his shots early on. So if he can get himself set here, hopefully these two can bring it home for the Cougs.
Well, you'd have to think it's Corrimal's 2020 final to lose now. The Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra 2020 Grand Final day. Although a couple of dot balls here from Helensburgh. They'll need a lot more. Now that's a wide. They'll need a lot more dot balls and not many extras.
No, well, that's the first extra we've seen in a long time. It's been very disciplined bowling by both sides today, which you'd expect from obviously your first grade players, is that they don't want to give away any extra runs than you need to. So the minimising of wides and no balls, obviously I don't think we've seen a free hit today, so it's good to see that both sides have really worked hard as they scamper through for a quick run. But yeah, obviously Corrimal right in the box seat here, and it's going to need something special from Helensburgh, whether it's a jaffer of a ball or something special in the field. I think a wicket or two may swing into their favour, but Corrimal right in the box seat.
Well, the Tigers still look very upbeat in the field. They're springing around, they're running around, they don't have their heads down even though they're up against it right now. So that's a good positive sign.
They're probably drawing a bit of strength from yesterday where it looked like Corrimal was set probably to have a comfortable run chase, but Helensburgh, with that never say die attitude, took some late wickets there and really ran through the bottom order of Corrimal. So that'll be in the back of their minds, I'd imagine, at this point. A wicket or two here and they'll definitely fancy themselves.
And they've definitely been the underdogs the last few years. Despite the Tigers being right up there, they've never really been fancied. I don't know whether it's because of it's just come from junior players or whether it's because of the way they've played during the season. But the Helensburgh have always seemed to fight against adversity, and they've managed to bring themselves out on top in the last few seasons. So you never know what's going to happen, but it's good to see that the boys aren't giving up. They're as competitive as anything I've ever seen before. So it's good to see them sticking right in there.
Well, things have just slowed down a little bit here at North Dalton Park. Corrimal were really starting to get on top, but apart from the one wide in this over, it's not been too bad.
And this is where it's really the pressure's on the new batsman to start nudging the ball around early on here. If he starts to bog down, it puts a lot of pressure on the established batsman. There's nothing worse than losing that established man and having two new batsmen at the crease.
It's another dot ball there from Marciani. They've gone up for the LBW appeal, but obviously it's been shot down there by Neil Finlay at the striker's end.
Marciani has hit the pads 3 times this over.
Yeah, he's very, very sharp, Ben. Don't let the slow run up and the short run up deceive you, but when he gets to that crease, the hump back, he sure can whip it through.
He's got a lot of shoulder into it. He's got plenty of stick.
He's a big boy, so obviously that ball's going to come through nice and quick. But so that's the end of the over.
End of the 11th over. Corrimal 2 for 69. And in the comparison stakes at this point in the game, Helensburgh were 3 for 50. So Corrimal well and truly in front of the run stakes. 9 overs to go. Still plenty of time. Just chasing 97 for victory.
And a change of end here for Ryan Morris. Sinclair's bowled tight, but obviously that last over's gone for a few runs. So seeing whether Morris is a little bit taller and a little bit faster off spinners, they might be able to tile them down. Marciani's done a good job to only go for a few runs in that last hit. If Morris can do the same.
As you see Jamie Dillon, they're really just trying to force the issue. Just needs to have a bit of patience here. Plenty of gaps in the field. If he can just bide his time a bit here. Straight down the ground looks like a good area to score a few runs at this point in time.
Now, boys, I had to be the bearer of bad news, but on the Weather Zone radar, this shower is kind of around the Warrawong Fig Tree area now and heading straight for North Dalton Park.
Yeah, well, the wind's really starting to blow here. I'm getting hit in the back here by a little tent that we've got set up, so hopefully the showers can hold off. But yeah, the weather is being a little bit of a dampener here.
At the moment, we don't have any sprinkles, but there's a big band of green heading straight for Wollongong.
26 to get it, 27 here to get for Corrimal. So Steve McDevitt, he'll probably look to finish it off in only a matter of overs here.
The good news for you, Sean, is that the storm, the heaviest of the rain, is heading more towards Helensburgh. So that's the sort of spread.
We're going to love going back to our home hotel, whether winners or losers. We're going to love sitting in that lovely thunderstorm.
A couple of runs here for the Corrimal Cougars.
Just hope it doesn't
Brady
come down.
chases it down.
Just hope it doesn't come down Duckworth Lewis, because I don't think anyone in our club would be able to do the maths quick enough.
It's got to be the most bizarre mathematical formulation I have ever heard of, and it still does my head in.
I think we're very lucky down here that there is a little bit more common sense, and it comes down to more run rate more than Duckworth Lewis and wickets and stuff like that. Some people might think it's a little unfair on bowling sides, whether they've taken a few wickets, but you know what? At the end of the day, all you want to be doing is counting how many runs per over are required.
The headaches which Duckworth Lewis would require, for especially some of those lower grade teams, would be enormous.
Duckworth Lewis, if I ever meet a person called Duckworth or Lewis, I have to take in a deep breath. Seen too many cricket games ruined by that formula. So the Corrimal Cougars 2 for 74 after 12 overs, chasing 97 for victory. You'd think it's just a matter of time, but what's going to come first, the victory runs or the showers that are headed our way on this Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra 2020 Grand Final day on Bar TV Sports?
So we've got the younger Marciani coming in to bowl now. Usually they have been doing this. They've been keeping him later for the spell. Try and bowl his real nice, quick deliveries. He bowls nice and full at those stumps. He's going to challenge his batsmen and really make him work hard for those runs. But they're going to bring him on late here when he has a little bit more protection and knows that he's going to be able to bowl his areas without too much worry.
And Jamie Dillon just a bit slow to get going in this innings here. Both these boys batting at the moment are Corrimal juniors, as are the whole Corrimal team, I believe, with the exception of McElhinney. So great to see the Corrimal juniors out and about in a grand final at the moment, as Helensburgh are doing a pretty good job, Sean, just drawing this run rate up a little bit.
Absolutely. The last few overs, they've brought it back a little bit, obviously. Corrimal's right on top here. They're 74, only netting another 23 runs off about 7 overs, but dot balls can do crazy things to batsmen at times. A few overs without runs or even a few balls without runs are going to make people really think some of their decisions.
Yeah, this is a big test for Jamie Dillon here. In seasons gone past, you get very frustrated at this point and really look for that big shot really to free the arms, which often brings about a wicket. But I said a bit earlier, he's much more mature this season, really developed into one of Corrimal's best batsmen.
Well, Corrimal is just going to mature greatly regardless of the result of this 2020 final. They're having a splendid summer in first grade, sitting just behind Helensburgh. Unfortunately for Corrimal, they went down to Helensburgh yesterday, but their second straight T20 final appearance, and Helensburgh have been the benchmark. This has just been a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for the Corrimal Cougars, and it just appears as though they're making the absolute most of it at the moment.
Yeah, things really picked up for the club a number of years ago when when our under-21 squad started to fire. As we see a wicket there, Jamie Dillon. See you later.
And there's Nathan Marciani showing that nice full length and a couple of dot balls there, and Jamie Dillon's tried to go push it a little bit, force the issue, and that's what a couple of dot balls does there. That's that pressure building up. So third wicket falls, but you still probably say that Corrimal are on top here.
And Marciani, great all-round performance today. Scored 37 with the bat, top scored for Helensburgh, and picks up a valuable wicket there where you never say never. Let's check out the Johnson Legal replay, and there's the woodwork being dismantled. It was a loose shot, but it's a classic 2020. Let's have a crack type of shot.
Yeah, it was right across the line there, and you can see the off stump's been knocked back there. A big win for the bowler, doing what he's expected to do, hit that top of off and really struck early there.
So Jamie Dillon heading back to the pavilion for 6.
New batsman to the crease is Curtis Trindle, a man we're maybe a little bit harsh on before with his drop catch. But yeah, big job for him to see Corrimal over the line here. Tom McDevitt's looking in great touch, and all he needs now is someone to play that little cameo at the end, and we could see a Corrimal cricket premiership.
So Curtis is in the light blue helmet. Jamie Dillon dismissed for 6. Nathan Marchianti with the wicket. And he's straight off the mark. Very positive way to begin his time at the crease. Picks up 2. They thought about 3. It's a long throw. They probably could have made it.
They probably could have pushed in there, but at this point in time, really no need to push those dicey threes there. As Corrimal look to consolidate here a little bit of work to do just to get over the line here.
Hey, if you want to fire through a last-minute tweet to our live and exclusive Bar TV Sports coverage, tweet us now at Bar TV Sports. It's the Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra 2020 Grand Final from North Dalton Park. We've got Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh Cricket Club, Nathan Thompson from the Corrimal Cougars Cricket Club, and Travis Winks with you from 96.5 Wave FM. Hope you're enjoying our coverage this afternoon. And at the completion of the 13th over, the Corrimal Cougars 3 for 76. Earlier this afternoon, Kira went back-to-back in second grade. They knocked over Northern Districts by 4 wickets, and earlier this afternoon, University, far too good for West Illawarra in third grade.
One thing I will give to Corrimal today, obviously their cricket playing abilities have been very spot on, but you know what? Their zinc application, I find, has been absolutely spot on. The McDevitts, I think they've all stood in the mirror together, and they've all done the exact same thing. It's very thick, it's very precise. It looks like they've really worked hard on that zinc application. And we all know the mirror in the change room before a cricket match is much like the girls before they're going out on a Saturday night.
Well, at the start of the year, that was a big thing for Corrimal, winning premierships as well as good zinc application.
Easy runs there.
Well, we do like to think ourselves as having the best afternoon tea in the comp. So we do
Trindle
like to
back
have
for
the
the
best zinc
second
as
and
well.
does it comfortably.
That's an easy 2 runs behind square, but I will say that Corrimal, their spread yesterday in the afternoon tea, outstanding. There was some serious meat pies and sausage rolls on offer. Helensburgh unfortunately can't offer the hot food, but whenever you get to go and enjoy a good snag bag or meat pie, it's always a good time.
So, Sean, who makes the sandwiches then for the Helensburgh Cricket Club?
I'll actually say it's myself and my brother. Myself and the captain of second grade, Matt Forshaw, we split the tea. I go and do the sandwiches. I'll make usually 2 or 3 trays of chicken lettuce mayo and ham cheese tomato. Usually
solid campaigners.
Yeah, exactly. The favourites of what everyone wants. So I'll go do the sandwiches along with my brother, and then our captain, unfortunately, the last few times he's left us hanging, he'll usually grab a couple of boxes of shapes and maybe a punnet of grapes.
Wow, so he doesn't really put too much tender loving care into the lunch spread.
I'll spend about an hour making sandwiches, and he'll just go stop by the servo on the way down and grab himself whatever he can.
It's a really big effort too, Sean, making those sandwiches. You're arguably the most important man in the club when you provide afternoon tea.
Yeah, well, it turns... You think...
Magical shot. And I think it's landed just inside the boundary. It'll be 4 at least. Our Bar TV Sports cameras, could they pick up whether or not it was a 6? I think it's only a boundary. They're going to have a chat to the fieldsman down there just to get his thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's a good effort there from Hannah, the young fella trying his heart out, and you know what? He's just missed it, and
it's just a boundary. It was an impressive hit nonetheless. Probably deserved 6, but we'll settle for 4. And that there is the 50.
That's 50 there for young Thomas McDevitt. A fantastic knock by the wicketkeeper. He kept very well in the first innings and has been at the absolute backbone of this Corrimal innings here.
This is the Johnson Legal replay. Just timed it beautifully. It was a good effort from Hannah in the field. Just 14 required for victory now for the Corrimal Cougars as they eye off their maiden Cricket Illawarra first grade 2020 crown.
You know what? Helensburgh won't begrudge Corrimal at all if they do take the biscuits here today, because they've been the better team in all facets.
Well, you know, I questioned the decision at the start for Rob Fisher to win the toss and elect to bowl. I thought, wow, you know, this wicket's going to deteriorate, but maybe that's where Corrimal started their process of winning this game.
Yeah, Corrimal obviously realises that their strengths are in very tight bowling where they tie the batsmen down and they put the pressure on them, force the issue for the batsmen to really try and they're the ones that have to try and score runs. It's not Corrimal giving away runs, it's the batting team scoring. So it's probably a very smart decision from Fisher here to really force Helensburgh to force the issue.
He's a very astute captain, Rob Fisher, and I think the decision to bowl first is something in the short form of the games and in the one-day competition last year he did. If he won the toss, Rob Fisher would generally elect to bowl first, and it's probably a decision Corrimal more comfortable.
Call.
Yeah, it started off with as a gutsy call, but I think the boys now have just become so used to chasing down totals there. It's almost second nature now.
Well, when you've got a bloke like Tom McDevitt coming out, opening the batting, scoring a half century, and he's just timing it as good as a grandfather clock at the moment. Couldn't pierce the field there, but he's been somewhat ruthless this afternoon.
If there's ever a man you need to knock a cricket bat in, I think he would be the bloke. Looks like everything's coming out of the middle at the moment.
And it's also the chasing down. Obviously, he likes runs on the board, set that mental edge of you've got to chase my runs down. But at the same time, if you're chasing in that second innings...
McDevitt again. It should make it all the way to the boundary, and it does. It's not the quickest part of the outfield out there, but McDevitt, he's just standing and delivering right now as Corrimal inch even closer to this victory target of 97. 3 for 89 in the 15th over. They've got this thing well and truly under control, and I think I can put the Weather Zone radar well and truly away because in the next few minutes, Corrimal will be celebrating their maiden Cricket Illawarra 2020 crown.
2 big blows and it's all done.
Dot ball.
Yeah, just going back to chasing down totals, obviously, when you're chasing down, it gives you that sense of, okay, this is what we have to go at. We know how many runs we need and over. We're going to pace our time. We're going to get there, and we're going to go at the pace that we know we need to do, rather than trying to feel like you need to score runs as quickly as you can and get as many as you can.
McDevitt on strike. I don't think he meant to hit it there, but he'll take the single.
It'd be a nice finishing touch at the moment if Tom McDevitt could see this game through being the not-out batsman. He's really led the way for the Corrimal side, really established himself as the dominant batsman in that opening partnership, and since there has largely been untroubled. A few shots have just gone just over the fieldsman's hands, but in large part Tom McDevitt has really been in control of this game.
So we've got 5 overs left to play here, and Corrimal need just 7 runs for victory. 3 for 90. Tom McDevitt in his 50s, and he's getting a little bit of support here from Curtis Trindle, but it's been the Tom McDevitt show today. The way he has anchored this batting innings has been tremendous from the very first ball this afternoon.
Yeah, he's a very proactive batsman, Tom McDevitt. Rarely does he get off to a slow start. And he's that type of guy where he can fall cheaply, but once he gets set and he gets past 10 and reaches double figures, he's so hard to stop.
So we've got Christian Lewis coming into the attack area, and to be honest, it's probably a little late for what they usually use Christian in. He's normally the bloke who'll come on from around the 8th to the 14th over, and he'll tie it down. He bowls the same sort of spot all the time. So I'm a little surprised to see him coming on this late, but who knows? He might pull a rabbit out of a hat here, but with only 6 runs to go for Corrimal, I think all is lost here for Helensburgh. But it's good to see, just at the start of the over, we could see on the TV from Bar TV that Mitch McRae was smiling over at point, and you know what? As long as the Helensburgh blokes are still having a good time, well, it's hard to begrudge them.
I know you're saying that it's all a little bit late here for Lewis to come on, but for the skipper Ben Marchianti, I mean he had to try and throw other things at Corrimal because the ship had sailed a little bit time ago.
Absolutely. When you get behind the run rate, it then becomes the point of, okay, we're not defending runs anymore. We've got to take wickets to try and get this game back in our hands. So you throw your opening bowler back on. You put Nathan, who's one of our strike bowlers, back on. You keep your spinners going, who have known to do the job as they push down the ground.
Just a single there for McDevitt.
It's good fielding down there. But yeah, so Marciani's thrown everything he can, and he's done the right thing by putting his strike bowlers and, you know what, the spinners that have done the job so far for Helensburgh in this T20 series. But he's done the right thing. and you can't begrudge them. Corrimal's just batted very, very well.
They've been very controlled. Rob Fisher, 18 at the top of the order, and McDevitt's still there, and a couple of runs here and there from the rest of the boys, but really Tom McDevitt's taken this grand final by the scruff of the neck, and he is delivering a brilliant unbeaten half-century, and it's just a matter of time before the champagne will be popping open at the Corrimal Leagues Club, and those cans of beer will be being sprayed right through the dressing room here at North Dalton Park.
I imagine there would be a few beverages being sunk at the Leagues Club right about now, and probably soon to be at Dalton Park as well, as Curtis Trindle there just slaps that one to mid-wicket. Not textbook, but effective nonetheless.
Take the runs when you can get them, and when you're this close to the victory target, just 3 more required for victory. And they've got plenty of time, plenty of balls up their sleeve. We could have a block fest for the next 10 minutes and they'll still edge home, you'd think.
I think it's safe to say too, Travis, that it won't be the last time Corrimal and Helensburgh meet in a semi-final or a final.
And that's a 6, and that finishes the job. Tom McDevitt, an absolutely splendid innings as the Corrimal Cougars clinch their maiden Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra 2020 Premiership. Far too good for the Helensburgh Tigers today. 7-wicket victors. Nathan Thompson from the Corrimal Cricket Club. The Cougars, they've just been purring all afternoon.
They sure have, Trev. How good is that? A great, absolute, fantastic performance from the Corrimal boys there, as we see them celebrating on the screen there. Lots of high fives and slaps going around the playing group. A fantastic performance against a very strong opposition in Helensburgh. Won't be the first time these guys meet in a final, probably this season, as we see Tom McDevitt there walking off. What a sensational afternoon it's been for him. He won't forget this game for quite a long time.
No, magical batting display from one of the McDevitt clan, and Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh Cricket Club. Mate, really appreciate your opinion in the box this afternoon. Your boys, they're on top of the Illawarra First Grade Cricket Premiership. They've made the T20 final. They didn't get the chocolates today, but, geez, you've got some very good talent at your disposal in Helensburgh.
Yeah, absolutely. The T20 finals, the one premiership that we haven't managed to win in the last few seasons, and it would have meant a lot to the boys if they could have taken it home. But you know what? They'll regroup this week. We'll turn up at training. I don't think we've scheduled one for Tuesday. We'll go have a beer this afternoon. We'll turn up on Thursday afternoon, and the boys will turn up again and rethink them. You know what? We've still got another 4 games to go in the regular premiership season. Well played to Corrimal. They were the better team today by far, and we'll dig back in and hopefully we'll come away with a few more wins for the rest of the season.
Just recapping for you, Helensburgh, they finished at 9 for 96, 37 from Nathan Marchianti. Matt Ward chipped in with 16. Mitch McRae at the top of the order. He was stumped. He went for 21. With some brilliant bowling from Corrimal. Mitch Jones, the absolute pick today for mine. He was on a hat-trick, Nathan.
Yeah, he was on a hat-trick, and the really exceptional thing about his bowling today was that he's not a abused bowler at all. He's probably bowled a handful of overs in his short senior career as it is, but today he was exceptional. The off-spin was fantastic, 2 for 13, and Xavier McDevitt as well, the opener, 1 for 8 off 4 overs, and that really hard to come back from with those when a bowling effort is so tight. It's really hard to put a good score on the board then.
Yeah, Joe McDevitt, 2 for 18 as well, and for Helensburgh, look, they were reasonably good in the field. Who was the pick of your bowlers, Sean?
It's hard to go past the captain there, Ben Marciani. He may not have taken the wickets that other people have, but he's kept it tight. He fully bowled at the stumps, and you know what? He got the dot balls that they need. He's come back in a tough period there where Corrimal had built a couple of partnerships, and he's tied it back down. He's given him a little bit of a sniff, but you know what? Ben Marciani, the captain, leading from the front there. It's hard to begrudge any of the bowlers. There's not much you can do when the batting display is as good as it was.
Absolutely. Look, the Corrimal Cougars, 7-wicket victors here, chasing down the 97-run target. 3 for 100. They did it relatively easy in the end. We hope you've enjoyed the Alberts Group Cricket Illawarra 2020 Grand Final day here from North Dalton Park. Earlier today in 3rd Division, it was University too good for West Illawarra. In the seconds, Kira went back-to-back with a victory over Northern Districts. And in first grade, the 2 combatants in the first grade premiership, went head-to-head today, and it was the Corrimal Cougars clenching their maiden 2020 crown. On behalf of Sean Mullally from the Helensburgh Cricket Club, Nathan Thompson from the Corrimal Cougars, Travis Winks from 96.5 Wave FM, Cricket Illawarra, and a big thanks to our Bar TV Sports cameraman and production team. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the Cricket Illawarra 2020 Finals Day. Thanks for your time, and we'll catch you again down the track.